No, I don't.
You say, why do you bring me onto this thing? I'll tell you exactly why. I'm the one that owns the fucking mic. That's the only reason. If it wasn't for that, I could
buy a better mic than you. I got a fucking tax refund. I could replace. I'm kidding.
Just call it.
Tack it. Be like, what are you doing? You want to be on a podcast, fucker?
Taking over the mantle.
Yeah.
Dewberry's graduating, his ass moving on somewhere. You're gonna take on the mantle with me. What would you call it? Would you keep it as unscripted, or what would you name it?
I would call it the Christopher Wayne Dewberry Jr. Sucks Cock Podcast. No, I'd probably call it the Ma Incident or something like that.
The Ma Incident?
Yeah.
The fuck is that about?
My balls.
Oh, shit!
Dude, it was so easy. It was so easy to get.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
That took zero effort.
Yeah.
That was the easiest thing you could ever done.
It really was. I was like, I'll throw it out there. Hook, line, and sinker, you fucking idiot. Oh, good god. Oh god. Anyway.
Damn. That was cold.
Yeah. So yeah, we're graduating soon. Both of us. He'll probably beat me for the first time ever.
At anything.
Literally anything. Except for like that one time that I wasn't paying attention. I was actually in the bathroom and he hit start on a Smash Bros.
Oh, you fucking liar.
So, last semester I shot my senior thesis. That's why it's been a long time since we've recorded a podcast. Because we have been working. We co-wrote the script. We co-wrote it. I cast it. I directed it. A very good friend and colleague of ours. I won't mention his full name. We'll call him Cole. That's his first name. He was the DP. It starred.
Shot very well.
Oh, it's a beautiful film for what it is. Honestly, too pretty for what that film is. It stars two other good friends of ours.
I think we can plug their names.
Plug their names. We can plug them all. Cole Johnson was the DP, starring Connor Bendall and Jake Skinner. Incredible people, fantastic actors. It's a buddy comedy about these two dudes who drop acid and have a bad time. We still need 2 scenes to pick up. I'm losing my mind trying to find a location to do that because it has to be in a convenience store where they will let us behind the counter as if we're cashiers. Mm-hmm. And that's hard. You might
get lucky if you go to a store that has multiple registers. And then, store. Since like 2004, I haven't been to a store that had every register packed out except for on holidays.
Ever.
So
they had Black Friday at Walmart exclusively. Yeah.
So you might if you can find a place, we can find a place that does that has like multiple registers, they might let you behind one because usually they don't keep cash in registers that nobody's working. Yeah, I have a few places scouted. I just gotta talk to managers there and see if they're willing to let me in and shoot. But it was a fun time. There's that one place that they shot something for the George Lindsay Festival that Jake was telling me about. Not Jake Skinner, different Jake was telling me about. Farrier? Yeah. It was do you remember the George Lindsay Festival? From another friend of ours from the Al Pacino Prison Scene podcast, which you should definitely check out. Mm-hmm. I think we've had him on here. We have had Jake. We have not had Thomas. Well, I really want to have them both on. We will eventually. Thomas is not actually part of the Al Pacino's Prison Scene anymore. He stepped away. It's going to be Jake Farrier and I believe Kyle and it's either Kyle and Jared or Kyle and Chris are kind of filling in that spot. Huh. I think he just had so much going on. He's trying to graduate too. Him. That dude's busy. Yeah, so I think he actually is just. Bless his heart. I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. But I'd still like to have him on. He's a funny guy. Love him to death.
Anyway, we had a fun time on set. I have some footage that is like behind the scenes footage, a good bit of it. There is one shot in the film that took a lot longer than I would like to admit. It took us a lot longer to get that shot. It is a tracking shot around the talent. And it's smack dab in like the peak of the trip. And so we wanted a bunch of colors. And so I had I didn't actually have him. My gaffer was a genius. The dude, a little older than us. Yeah. He's been in the game for a good bit. He was working on sets at UNA like with me. Like he and I worked really closely. You're talking about Joe, right? Yeah, Joe.
We were working together back in like 2015.
Yeah, dude's got a lot of experience. He's crazy smart. Not only is he good at what he does, he's like a MacGyver. He just like knows how to solve problems. And what this crazy dude did was he took two C-stand arms, put an LED on each that were at different colors, and then he whole ass bicycled them, like hand bicycled them, so they spun to give like a strobe effect for different colors. It looks incredible. Can't wait for the finished project. I didn't mention this earlier, but Dewberry is the editor of the film.
Yeah, I was I helped you. I co-wrote it with you. Editor, Script Soup, and then I played Script Soup as well. I played a small bit part in it that was so fun. You have a little cameo in there, yeah. I'm gonna have a cameo in it whenever we pick up. Are you playing the clerk?
Yes, I'll be playing the cashier.
Hell yeah!
We're both gonna have a little cameo. Hell yeah! I'm excited about that.
Jared as the milkman was fucking awesome.
Jared's pretty good.
But no, it was very well shot. And had really good production value too.
Shout out real quick to Jonathan Tackett, Mike Davis, and Clint Chandler, who are three wonderful people that I work with. Jonathan Tackett is the sous chef at the country club I work at. Fun fact: I'm a line cook at a country club. Sous chef Jonathan Tackett, incredible guy, one of the coolest bosses I've ever had, and he played the father of the lead in my film, and it was one of those things like I'd been trying to find an actor to play that role for months. I even went as far as to ask my own father. I was like, "Dad, can you just like one scene's all we need?" And he was like, "No." And so I was just at work one day, and I looked at Tackett, looked at his build, looked at his silver fox sexy hair, and I was like, he could do it. And that night I asked him if he'd ever been interested in acting, and he's like, yeah, it's pretty cool. I asked him, and he said he was interested, but I think what sold the deal is Connor Bendall, the actor who played my lead, actually used to work with Tackett.
What they do?
Tackett long time ago, he worked at the country club, and then he left because he was offered a general manager position at a restaurant in Russellville. And while he was there, Connor was one of his cooks. So they've known each other a little bit. They've worked together. And so when I told him that he would be playing Connor's dad, his immediate reaction was, "Oh, fuck yeah, I want to do that." And so, boom, cast him on the spot. And then Clint Chandler and Mike Davis, good old Mike D, they played, they're in like one scene, little bit roles, but they did it well. They were cops in the film. Fantastic people for a fantastic role. The two least likely cops to ever be cast. Those guys, if you know them the way I know them, and you'll see them on screen and go, those aren't cops. But like knowing them the way I know them, yeah, no, they're not cops. But they did good.
They did really good. So, I haven't really asked you about this yet. So, obviously at some point you're going to put it like on YouTube so people can watch it.
Oh, absolutely.
But what's the plan? So, like a timeline, assuming assuming that tomorrow we had all the shots we needed and it was cut together.
Okay. Well,
what's the time plan for how you would?
Let's not assume that. I plan on finishing shooting the film at the latest July. So let's say worst comes to worst, we finish shooting the end of July. Then I will we'll get it edited together, and I will submit the final visual cut. We've made all the changes we can make. I'll give that to Albie, who is another person that I work with, who is actually a music producer, who is making the soundtrack for my film. I will give it to Albie. Albie will make the music for it. I'll tell him like what I'm wanting, where I'm wanting it, and he'll make it. He's already sent me one track for the montage,
which is already pretty much.
I showed you that, didn't I?
You did.
Yeah, great, fantastic. I loved it. And then once he gets the tracks, and he's bringing a bunch of people that he knows. It's like him and Gonzo, Clint's working on it. They're making a punk band for it called Knife Wizard.
Just for the movie?
Just for the film.
So that's how it's gonna be credited in the credits. Knife Wizard.
All right, can't wait.
We'll have to do it's gonna have what's the record label? What's the fucking record label?
I don't know, man.
Unscripted Productions record label.
So here's the thing, right? Tell me what you think of this name. I thought of this band name. The Honeyfuckles.
The Honeyfuckles.
The Honeyfuckles. That's what a lot of the times at work we'll try to one up each other on names. Mike D's got a good one. He's a Mike Davis. He's got a country band because he knows a lot of other people with the last name Davis. He's got a country band that he's made up called the Davis County Country Band.
That's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
So, okay,
sorry, let me finish
August.
The thing. Sorry, yeah.
Get it cut together.
Get it cut together by August. Give it to him. And honestly, I told him that I would like to have the full soundtrack by the end of the year. Once we have the full soundtrack, we'll cut it together, make it one whole thing. Hopefully not in December. As soon as we can get it. But I told him by the end of the year I would like to have it. Which the pickup scenes we're getting won't have music. So all the things that he needs to see, he has to compose. And then from there, once we have that, as soon as we have it, I will completed, I will release it to the backers that help me on Indiegogo. I will release it to the ones that pledged enough to get the early release. I'll give it to them. And then I'll probably wait 2 weeks after that and make it public on YouTube. And then from then submit it to pretty much every film fest I can put it in.
Gotcha. Are you going to wait till after the last film festival to release it on YouTube?
No, I'll probably release it on YouTube, make it public 2 weeks after the private release for the early viewers.
I would just say be careful about that because there's a lot of film festivals that have rules about submitting your work publicly before the festival.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, a lot of them do. So what I would do is I would just submit it, and then after the last one that has that rule, put it up.
Okay.
I know, I don't think George Lindsay has that, but I do think Sidewalk actually does have a rule about that.
I'm
but
pretty sure Mattress Monster was on Vimeo before George Lindsay.
We also have to remember they might not always see it. Just because I put something on YouTube and then I upload it there, submit it there, they might not see it on YouTube.
True.
I doubt that's a vetting process for a bunch of... If you have a festival that gets thousands and thousands, I doubt they have people going through and trying to find it on YouTube.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
I think they might.
They might.
Depending. I think it probably
might.
depends on the size of the festival, honestly.
And also, good luck trying to find my one little film that hasn't been anywhere in this plethora of YouTube films.
The smorgasbord that is the internet.
Yeah. But
it was a fun set. I enjoyed it. I was unbelievably stressed.
Yep.
The entire time. I remember. Mm-hmm. So we did midnight to noons, or sorry, my bad, noon to midnights. every day.
Yep.
Except for our last day. We started at 7 p.m. and I think we wrapped at 4:30 a.m. I think it might have been
5:30. I thought it was 5:30.
No. I was in bed before 5. So I'm thinking we might have wrapped at 4 and then loaded everything. And then I think I was in bed at like 4:30, 4:45. But still, that was an interesting night because it was so late. And the things we had to film that night were all like street side scenes. The cops were frequenting our set.
Oh, dude.
We also
Can I tell something?
We got a criminal arrested that like months ago, like last year. This dude broke into my car. A past guest of the podcast and a friend of ours, Addison, they broke into his truck and a couple other cars around here and stole some stuff. And he didn't get arrested that night, but we did bring that dude to justice. But I'll let you tell the story because I didn't actually take part in that night because I was on the set, but you did.
So I was so the way that the whole set was set up is that the home base was Luke's apartment. And in there we have our crafty, which is our food stuff, snacks and everything for the crew, where the meals were brought to and distributed. And we were filming all the way down the street. And it's probably about...
I wouldn't say all the way down the street. That's like half a block.
Well, that's at the end of the street.
Yeah, which is like half a block
away. But all the way down the street. And that's more than half a block. It's far enough away. It's probably about 100 yards.
Considering Good Spirits... Maybe. Considering Good Spirits is 2 blocks away, that's like half a block.
But still, it's at the end of the street. What I'm establishing is that we were like from his apartment to the very end of the street, nowhere in between.
Anyway.
But we had to walk from Luke's apartment to the end of the street. So I was walking by myself. I was in my I don't even know if I was in my milkman costume yet because this was that scene. But I'm walking from Luke's apartment to the end of the street where the rest of the crew is. So the crew is basically split half and half because we didn't want to have everybody down at the street corner trying to film. We wanted as little attention on us as possible. So only people that were necessary. I'm walking down there and there's a guy standing at the apartments. It's not gated, but there is a wall around the perimeter. There's a guy standing on the inside wall. I'm on the outside on the sidewalk at this point, and he's like kind of staring at me. And so I was staring back at him, but I just keep walking. And he comes from around the wall onto the sidewalk and starts walking towards me. And I was like, can I help you with something? He's like, if I'm not mistaken, he said like, no. And I was like, well.
Didn't he say like you live here or something like that?
That is what he said. He said, do you live here or something? And I was like, who are you? And I was basically just like, what do you want? Kind of thing. And he was like, you were staring at me. And I'm like, you were staring at me. And this dude, his eyes were really glazed. I could tell that he was like, it felt like he was on drugs. Like he was high. He just smoked something.
Probably freebase cocaine.
Probably. But I was getting some sketchy vibes off of him. And he was like, he seemed pretty disheveled. And I was like kind of backing away. And I was like on the defensive. And he said, oh, don't worry, man. I'm not gonna hurt you. And I'm just like, I said to him, I'm like, well, I'm not worried about you hurting me. And so I was like, so I decided to walk back to the apartment to let everybody know that there's this weird dude standing out there and to walk in pairs. And as I'm walking past him, he like jumps at me, trying to scare me. And it didn't shake me, but I was also just like, okay, this dude's on something. So I go back to the apartment, let everybody know, walk in pairs. There's a weird dude out here. And then Ricky comes to me afterwards, and he and I were walking back together, back to the end of the street, and he said so Ricky's the only one of us, when he broke into the cars months ago, he's the only one of us that actually got a good look at him, but he didn't realize that that's what he was doing at the time that he saw him. He thought he was the owner of one of the cars, so he didn't think anything of it seeing him in it. He said, oh no, that's the guy. That's the same guy. So as we're walking back down to the end of the street, we see that there's a cop next to the film set. And yeah, I was like, at
this point, like, what happened is like a cop had pulled up to ask what we were doing, and I told him, And you came to me and told me that there was this weird guy before getting Ricky, I think. No. You had talked to Ricky and then come to me, and then you had left a change, is what it was. Mm-hmm. And then you were both walking back together, and I told the cop about what you guys had seen, and I saw you guys walking down the block, and I was like, actually, those are the two guys that told me about it, so you should, if possible, pull up and talk to them.
And I don't think I think I was already in my costume. I think I had to go get my script suit book. Either way, I had to go back.
You had to do something.
And so the cop starts driving towards us from you guys. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. I just tell this guy, I was like, hey, look, there's this weird dude over here. He's the same guy that broke into a bunch of cars months ago because Ricky saw him. And so the cops, if I'm not mistaken, what happened after that is we went back down to the end of the block. The cops cornered him in the apartment complex. You know, it has walls around. He like hopped one of the walls and was like running away.
Yeah.
And we think we saw him. Actually.
No, I don't think that was him. Because, like, that dude, like, after looking at, like, the mugshot and all that, like, the dude that we saw just, like, didn't have the tattoos.
Well, we didn't know because the guy that I saw, was wearing, like, a jacket.
Yeah, like, that dude had neck tattoos.
Yeah, but he was also down the street. I mean, it could have been anybody.
Tattoos.
It could have been anybody.
Not that I'm, like, Eagle Eye Johnson or anything,
But, anyway, it's like we thought. Well, I'm saying like at the time we thought that was him. Like at least some of us did.
At the time we definitely did. Yeah.
But no, they when I saw the mugshot, I was like, oh yeah, that's the guy. That's the dude.
So what happened was after all this, and it was crazy. Like we told that one cop that like we think this happened, and I kid you not, like 8 cops, if not more, rolled up. A K9 unit rolled up. It was crazy.
I was like, damn, what's this dude also done that you guys think he's done?
And then the next day, it was a Monday, because we shot that a Sunday.
Yeah.
The next day, Monday, a little in the afternoon, probably, I don't know, dude, like 2, 3-ish, Clint, who we filmed that night, his scene was that night, so he was there for all of that. He shoots me a text, and he's like, it's a picture, and he goes, hey man, this the guy? And I didn't know, so I sent the picture to Dewberry, and Dewberry said that was the guy. He, the next day, got arrested for, so what happened was he went into a gas station, and some other guy was also at that gas station who was like entering the gas station as this guy was leaving. And that guy had left his car running. So, little word of the wise, maybe don't do that. But he left his car running, so the dude noticed that, hopped in the car, stole it, crashed into either a power pole or a street light, and then just hopped out and ran away. So he got arrested for auto theft, fleeing from a accident, attempt to avoid arrest, DUI, possession, and I think there was a few more charges.
What's the difference between auto theft and grand theft auto?
So I think, okay, this is completely out of my ass.
Okay.
I have never fact checked this. I think for something to be
Jamie, why don't you pull that?
No, shut the fuck up. I think in order to be a grand theft, you have to have stolen an item of a certain value or higher. I do not know. Like, yeah, again, I'm totally talking out of my ass.
Okay. Well, so let me Google that. That's not what I thought it was. Which, like you said, you could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. I thought that it was, again, out of my ass too. I thought that it just meant that, like, when you stole it, somebody was in the car and you pulled them out and you stole it. I thought that's what a Grand Theft Auto was. I thought it was like if someone was in the car.
So, a theft is considered to be a grand theft when the property taken is worth more than a minimum amount, perhaps 500 to 1,000 or more. Property is taken directly from a person, but by means other than force or fear. So, Grand Theft Auto... Okay, let me see if there's a different laws.
I
for
totally
Grand Theft
thought you were
Auto.
gonna be like Grand Theft Auto
Grand Theft
is
Auto,
a video
also
game series.
referred to as GTA, is not just a video game. Rather, it is known as the vehicle theft and/or just auto theft, if defined as unauthorized taking of another's car with the intent to permanently deprive the owner of the car. It may be by force, trick, or false pretenses. So, I would assume the only difference between auto theft and Grand Theft Auto is the intention to keep the car or not.
Okay, and
so
you have to be able to prove that intention. It's like trying to prove the difference between a different degrees of murder.
If I stole a Aventador, I'm keeping that car. That's GTA. If I stole some dude's Honda Civic down the block, that's
probably just meant to get me from one place to another and then ditch it.
Yeah.
Probably planning on ditching that one.
Which, fun fact, I currently drive a Civic, but I once had a 98 Honda Accord that was stolen. Got it back the next day. But still, I have one time had my car stolen.
We were, which is crazy because you didn't even leave the key. You still had your keys.
Yeah. I get in the car, and there's a key in the ignition, and it's not mine.
Didn't you have it stolen twice? Wasn't it stolen then, and
no,
then
just
they
once.
found it somewhere else?
It got broke into 3 times. One of those times it was stolen.
But I thought you found it. I thought they found it somewhere else.
Yeah, that time it got stolen. Was a cop found it.
But you're saying you got into it and there was already a key in it?
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
And it wasn't mine.
I
It's crazy.
I deduced
crazy.
That. Yeah. Never had a car stolen. I had somebody when we lived over at the when we lived over on Chisholm Road. Remember we had somebody keyed our cars.
Oh damn, that was on Chisholm.
That was over there when we had like D&D one night. We came back and they keyed our
South
cars.
Florence?
I guess it's right up the street.
North Florence.
It would be north. It would be north, yeah.
Yeah.
Because south is towards Muscle
the
Shoals.
NFA, if you will.
I'm from the street from the NFA, baby.
We were hanging out playing, I think, Curse of Strahd that night, or was that Jason's campaign we were playing?
We played them all there, so I'm not sure which one it was.
It was probably Jason's campaign, because we ended before 3 o'clock in the morning.
Was Alan still a part of it at that point? Because I don't think his car was there. Anyway, we're playing D&D, and we come out, and there's a note left on... it's either mine or Jason's car. There was a note.
I had left before that, because I had planned, so immediately after D&D, I had to split.
Who was it that noticed the cars were keyed?
I think it might have been because I wasn't there when it happened.
But yeah, they straight up keyed the shit out of our cars. Yeah. They wrote bitch.
Ricky for some reason got the worst, and he was just the most innocent person in the entire scandal.
No, straight up we called the cops, and we figured we knew who it was. So we went to their door and was like, "Yo, what the fuck did you do to our cars?"
Yeah.
And of course they denied it.
Which
they were like, "Okay, we left the note," and I'm like, "And you think you didn't key them too?"
Yes, but real talk though, honest to God, shout out to the FPD. The Florence PD, I've never had a problem with them. They've always been so nice to me.
Yeah, I mean they've let me off with a lot of shit.
Dude, one time a cop pulled me over going 65 and a 40. And he was like, "Bro, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Dog, I thought it was 55." And he was like, "Did you think it was 55?" I was like, "I swear to God, I thought it was 55." And he was like, "Well, it's not. Don't go that fast on this road again," and let me go. I was like, "Oh, dude, what king energy."
I generally don't try to hang around police officers, but I was driving.
Neither do I.
Huh?
Neither do I. Except when I worked at the galley, because it was unavoidable. I think they were always there eating.
I've got 2 friends that I can think of, and one of them, I mean, I wouldn't really consider. I mean, we're friends. Went to high school together. We're friends on Facebook. She's a cop, and one of my best friends became a cop for a while. And the shit that he told me is funny as fuck. Anyway, I got pulled over going, so in front of UNA over on Pine Street, that whole stretch from you're going downhill and you go across the bridge, and the lights were on, and I didn't see that the lights were on. So it's 25 when the lights are blinking. School zone. Yeah. I was going 55, which is it's normally 45. I'm pretty sure. I was going 55.
Some spots is 35.
Either way, I was going at least 20 over, and I was really probably going 30 over if it was 25. At that point, I was going 55. Got pulled over, and I pulled into Kilby's parking lot. And the cop came up, and he was like, do you know how fast you're going? And I thought that I didn't know the last one. I was like, yeah, I was going about 55.
Just immediate fess up, dude.
Well, no, that's how fast I was going. I didn't know I was speeding. I thought 55 was like the speed limit, and I was just like, oh, I was going 55. Like, I thought it was just normal. And he was like the school, like, you didn't see the school zone lights on, and I was like,
I sure didn't.
I told him, and he was like, you didn't see the school lights? I was like, no. We just slowed down. Yeah, I was like, you think I would have said that as confidently as I did if I had? I'd have hit you with the, I don't know, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And he said, now what? He said, what do you think I should do? You know, what would you do if you were me? What do you think I should do? And I said, man, you do what you have to do.
I'd be like, I'd give my ass a stern talking to.
Yeah, right. I looked at him, I said, you do what you got to do. And he said, well, I appreciate you being forthright. You know, I don't really want to write any tickets today. Just slow it down. And I was like, you got it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And then I did a donut and burnt out. I'm joking.
Oh, yeah. Rip that shit hardcore right in the motherfucker's face.
I go, I just hit him with the, thank you, sir. All right, yes, speaking of which, you pass me one of those?
Yeah, I'll pass you, dude.
Just a good old, sir, do you want one of these before I peel out of here? Dude. Were you looking for one?
So, yeah, it's a fun little set. But apart from that, let's talk about something a little more serious going on. So, not to date this podcast, but ladies and gentlemen, you wouldn't believe it. Israel and Palestine are at it again. They've been fighting probably since before anyone you know or anyone they know was ever born. And now, I'm an ex-history major, so take this with a grain of salt. Tension's been high between them since, probably before Jesus was crucified. But the high tensions started. My specialty with history is like way. I'm talking like the things that I prefer to study are between like 500 BC and 500 AD. So don't take what I say as fact by any means. But World War I-ish, England kind of swept in there and did what they wanted. And then they split that land up, I believe how they saw fit. And we all kind of put Israel in charge.
Hold up.
Roll Tide.
That was for the, for you, officer, that pulled me over and gave me a break.
So Israel, two holy lands right next to each other. That's kind of inconvenient in my opinion. But considering that, not to sound like a bigot, but like, I'm not a hardcore religious person. So when you look at it from the way I look at it, when you look at certain things, we kind of all worship the same God, all of us monotheists. Because if I'm not mistaken, like, I've never read the Quran. Hell, I've never really read the Bible. But, like, we're all kind of, like, worshiping the same God, because, like, from what I've heard, like, the Protestant Christian Old Testament is very similar to the, to part of the Quran, part of, what is the Torah?
Yes.
I've heard it's all very similar. The Torah, I've heard the Torah's popping. Like, the Torah is what everybody should read, because the Torah was like the OG, from what I've heard. Torah is the shit. Torah, if I'm not mistaken, talks about how, fun fact, Eve was not Adam's first wife. Adam's first wife was a woman named Lilith. And Lilith was cast out of Eden because she liked to be on top during sex.
Yeah, I've never read the Torah.
Yeah,
but that sounds pretty fucking interesting.
Nice, right? Anyway,
I know that. I know that generally of the monotheistic religions, specifically those three. I'm
sure there are others, but those aren't definitely the big three, like in the world.
So, again, I don't know this for certain, so I think you might be able to correct me on this. Isn't it that Judaism and Christianity, it's like the Old Testament's very similar, and then with Islam, it's the New Testament's very similar.
Okay,
with at least their historical observations of Muhammad and Jesus Christ, which the Bible doesn't really talk about Muhammad, but I'm pretty sure. But I think the Quran did talk about Jesus, if I'm not mistaken, as like a prophet.
So this could be incredibly wrong, and if I am, I'm sorry, because like this isn't something that I studied. From what I've heard, there was like one of the people in the Bible had 2 kids. Maybe it was Cain and Abel.
Yeah, Cain and Abel's
did Cain kill Abel?
Yes.
Abel had kids before he died.
I'm pretty sure Cain killed Abel and then pretended to be him to his blind father.
But didn't Abel have kids before he died? I don't know. Look, I don't know. I've never read the Bible. Some dude had 2 sons. Mm-hmm. One of the sons left to go do his own thing.
I think it was Abraham had 2 sons.
Probably. I definitely remember the name Abraham in this story.
Yeah, it was Abraham. He had one was Isaac, the other one was
Abraham
had many
sons.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I was thinking the same fucking song.
Yeah. So one of them left to go do his own thing. One of them stayed. That family that stayed made Christianity. The family that left made Islam. That might be incredibly wrong and like god awful that I said that, but that was what I was told, and I will never swear that is what happened.
So,
but that is how I know it, and if anybody hears this and can correct me, please do.
Yeah, drop it in the comments, maybe.
Yeah, like give me that link, bud. But
what's really fucking cool about it's not just the Bible; it's most of those older religions. I say older, not new wave. Like it's Christianity, Islam, even Buddhism. A lot of these older religions, there's things that happen in the world that we have evidence that happened that are mentioned in both of those. So there's like a great flood. There has been evidence found that's an accurate thing that happened. I don't know if it was found that it was on the scale of the way that it says in the Bible that the whole world was covered. I don't know if that was ever found.
I bet like the 1 mile radius that they lived in was flooded.
But that is something that happened that they that multiple religions have denoted as being a thing that happened in there. So
I know,
I think that kind of stuff is really cool.
I know one thing is like that is also mentioned in the Epic of Gilgamesh, mm-hmm. which is fiction. And the Epic of Gilgamesh was written like way before the Bible, before any of those was written. Now, I'm not saying that didn't happen. I'm just saying that a fictitious text written before them does reference that event. That's all I'm saying. But
I will also say this, and I'm not saying that this is a get out of jail free card. I am just going to point out, art imitates real life.
Yeah. Gilgamesh, you ever read it? You totally should.
I have read it.
Gilgamesh is
I had to read it.
Baller.
It's pretty good. Yeah, I read it last. I read it not this past semester, but the semester before. In a class, we talked all about it.
I have a friend who is like convinced that all major religions plagiarize Gilgamesh, and I was just like, dog, why do you hate so much? like
religion's a cancer. Like, okay, whatever,
like, bro. Like, come on. Anyway, so back to Palestine, Israel.
Yeah. Didn't mean to get off on
Yeah. So I'm not gonna pick a side because I don't live there. I don't see the day-to-day plights, but I can say that I definitely do not agree with what either of them are doing. I feel for the people of Palestine.
Yeah. Because
they are definitely suffering greatly.
They're the ones that lose.
Yeah, the Palestinian government being ran by a terrorist organization.
Yeah.
Is it Hamas?
Hamas and Hezbollah.
Hezbollah. That's the one that I've heard. Hezbollah.
Mm-hmm.
So...
evil. Just pure evil.
Definitely not good. So, I watched a video that was an interview with someone who is ex-military from Israel. And in the interview, he said that after a year and a half on the job, he realized that they were the terrorist organization. He would tell stories about, he would be like walking down the street if you were in a neighborhood, and some, is it correct to call them Israelites? Some Israelis, maybe?
Israelis, I think, is...
So, if some Israelis are, like, ganging up and in the process of beating a Palestinian to death, they are not allowed to intervene, and they must wait for local authorities. In a reverse role, if a group of Palestinians are ganging up on and in the process of beating an Israeli to death, that is a shoot-to-kill order.
Wow.
Yeah. If, well, the thing that really stood out to me is if there's a neighborhood where Palestinians and Israelis live together, they live in the same neighborhood, Israelis would call people, like the government, military, cops, whatever, and say that they don't want those Palestinians walking down their streets. The military would go to their home, make them pack up, leave their home through their windows, and walk through yards to relocate them.
Wow.
They could go into apartment blocks that are, like, predominantly lived by Palestinians and take that shit over for months at a time and kick them out to be homeless until they were done. With no reason. Just go and take over. And, you know, Palestine responds by driving some 80s-style missiles or some car bombs into places, which is bad.
Well, to be completely fair, I don't think
very bad.
I don't think I don't think the Palestinian government was responding to those things. I don't think that's what the Palestinian government responded to.
True.
That might, now Palestinian citizens or insurgents, probably yeah.
But
I mean, I'm sure.
I did phrase that as if the Palestine government did that. I apologize. That's not what I meant to do. But then, the Israeli government responds to those attacks by bombing hospitals and elementary schools.
Yep.
And we give them multiple $1 billion a year. I don't know if you know that.
I do, and I used to be very pro-Israel. I used to be very pro-Israel before I knew a lot of the things I know now. You know, I was a lot of that has to do with my faith, and so it's you know,
you gotta root for the Holy Land, right?
Yeah, actually, I mean that's how it feels. Yeah, that's how it felt. It's like people who were German at the beginning of World War II, going like German Americans who were born in America, going back to the fatherland to serve because they were called to do so. It feels kind of like that, but on a smaller level. I'm not going to Israel to serve, you know, or to fight, but it's like I rooted for them, and I was like, I hope they can put an end to the conflict, and a lot of that had to do with the Palestinian leadership and it being a terrorist organization running the country, and my whole thought process was, I want Israel to take over Palestine and make it one country, or at least topple the Palestinian government and basically destroy the terrorist organization and put in good leaders into the country, which never happens. If you've ever looked at history of a foreign country toppling another country's government and putting in their own people, it never happens in some sort of happy way. Ever. I was very naive. And the thing is like the conflict has been pretty heated, but it's getting very heated right now. And it's being brought to the forefront of the news media about the bombings of the hospitals and school children. If you look at the numbers, it's overwhelmingly Palestinians killed. Those numbers, however, are not reflecting the amount of people killed by their own government. Mm-hmm. They're basically saying how many people are killed, and then and framing it so that it looks like Israel are the only people killing Palestinians, and that's just not the case. Palestinians' own government are killing their own people. They're beheading them. They're pulling them out in the street. Yeah.
They're not comparing how many people have died in the conflict. they're comparing how many people have been killed by the other side of the conflict.
But my point that I'm getting at is that they won't look at the numbers of the Palestinians who have killed their own people. They're only looking at the number of it, which is still wrong. And bombing hospitals and schools is completely unforgivable. I mean, it's deplorable. That's why I'm not pro-Israel anymore. I'm not pro anybody at this point. I'm kind of like where you're at.
Yeah, I just don't vibe with that entire conflict.
No, and it's like before because this has actually been happening for a while, but it's only recently that it's become such a forefront in the media. Recently, like in the past couple of months, in the past year, it's become more widely known about exactly what's going on in there. And I watched a video by Jubilee, which I usually don't like Jubilee. But they had one where it was it was like 2 years ago, and it was Palestinians and Israel. I don't know if it's Israelites or Israeli, but
it is Israelis.
It is Israelis,
I think.
But it's like 3 or 4 of them on each side, and they come together to like talk differences. And one of them was an Israeli soldier who actually fully believed in the cause, or ex-soldier. But it was interesting listening to those different perspectives of the whole thing. I think what would have made it more even is if it wasn't an Israeli soldier and a Palestinian citizen, but if it was an Israeli soldier and a Palestinian soldier.
Yeah. Because
the citizen hates both sides. The citizen is thinking to themselves, I've seen videos of them talking about it, so this is how the ones I've seen have talked about it, as hating their government and hating the Israelis. They hate both of them. Because their friends are getting pulled out of their houses by Israeli soldiers, and their friends are being pulled out of their houses and killed by Palestinian soldiers. And so they kind of have it worse than anybody else. It's not even kind of. They definitely have it worse than anybody else.
So according to this, Israelite is usually confined to the people of ancient Israel. And Israelis is considered the modern citizens of the state of Israel.
So Israelis.
Yes.
That's what it sounded weird saying Israelite. It makes me think of like
makes me think of
Moses. It makes me think of fucking Moses. Moses was Egyptian, but he grew up in Egypt. But
is it Moses?
Yeah, Moses.
Who am I thinking of?
He was Jewish, but he grew up in.
Who had the coat of many colors?
I don't remember. But no, I was
Was that Moses? Was sold as a slave?
No, Moses was never sold as a slave.
Who was sold as a slave as a child by his brother to Egypt?
Oh, dude, I know that story, but I don't know who it was. I do
remember
the
movie. They made a movie?
Was it? I think they did. It was like the. So DreamWorks made the Prince of Egypt, and then they made another one that was a directed DVD that might have been the one you're thinking of. Has Christian Bale in it, I'm pretty sure. But actually, recently rewatched the Prince of Egypt. Funny enough, but no, it's so a lot of it does have to do with it being the Holy Land.
Joseph.
Mm-hmm. A lot of it does have to do with it being the Holy Land. That's why I supported them. There were 3 crusades, and it's a conflict that's never really been settled, except now it's Judaism and Islam and not Catholicism. But there's always been conflict over that piece of land. Well, I say always in the past couple thousand years. There's always been a conflict in that section of the world.
Yeah, but like hardcore in the past 100.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot of that has to do with the progression of technology and the means in which you're capable of fighting. It's way easier to have multiple conflicts when you have weapons like guns and missiles on your side. And
have you?
It becomes more. I don't know if it's way easier to have more, but it becomes more violent, and more lives are lost.
I posted a link a while ago in the group chat that was a video of Palestine's, I think it's called like the Halo Defense, as it was like intercepting missiles. Yep. That is very interesting to watch. Hate that I had to see that. Very interesting to watch. But
it's a whole mess, man.
Yeah, and but that whole situation, god awful. Hate that that's happening. But let's move on to much happier topics. For example, the not so apocalyptic zombie film, Army of the Dead. Good old Zack Snyder. Big hit he had on Netflix.
Mm-hmm. I'm finally glad he got another hit, by the way.
We're not going to dig too deep into it because we plan on reviewing the film on our next episode.
But we can talk about things surrounding the movie. We don't have to talk about details of the film.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah, I had a really good time. I think it was a great movie to go back to the theaters and watch.
Yeah, haven't been since, was it Tenet was the last one we saw in theaters?
We saw Tenet. We reviewed that one on, I don't know if it was the last one.
Ago.
No, it wasn't.
Was it not August last year?
Tenet? No, we saw Tenet back in I want to say it was September, October that we watched Tenet.
I thought it was August.
Is August almost a year ago? We still got June,
it's
July.
May.
Holy shit! Yeah, it's at the end of May. We've got June and July. That's 2 months.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
Tomorrow's the last day of May, dude.
Shit.
It's almost August.
But no, it was back in, I'm pretty sure, September. We didn't review it until.
We reviewed it when it came out,
didn't
we? On
DVD?
God. I don't remember.
Shows how few podcasts we've done in the past. Couple months.
Anyway.
But Army of the Dead.
We've been busy. Army of the Dead, really good. A
lot of fun.
Zack Snyder,
ton of fun.
Good return to form for him.
If I'm not mistaken, it's his second or third highest rated film on Rotten Tomatoes. It's got 69 right now. Nice.
I'm trying to think. I don't remember the actress's name. The helicopter driver.
Oh yeah, did you hear about that?
Yeah, I told you. So
did you tell me?
The fun fact about that, I don't know. I remember telling Molly, and then I heard Molly say it, and then you went, "What?" So I read about it. Yeah, I think you heard about it after I told her. But anyway, the point is, the actress who played the helicopter driver, who was the escape driver for a heist, the getaway driver, she was never
on set.
They filmed that movie with another actor or actress,
Chris something,
and then that actor or actress came under fire for I think sexual misconduct.
Yeah,
and so they dropped that person, recast the role, and last I read, to this day, Dave Bautista has never met her.
Yeah, I think they spent $1 million. I
think it was a couple mil.
Was it a couple million?
That's what I read. Was a $multi-million.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just $1 million, but damn. I mean, just $1 million, as if $1 million isn't a shit ton of money.
For real.
Hey, imagine being an actress though, and somebody wants you in their film so bad they're spending millions to get you in it.
Now, again, from what I read one article about it, so there are probably thousands of articles about this. They could dispute this, but from what I read, his wife footed the bill for that.
Really?
That's what I've heard. Either she footed it or she convinced Netflix to foot it.
So,
but she was directly involved with that, the funding of that decision.
Maybe, we're gonna do a review of the film. That's the next one we're gonna do for the podcast. But did we even mention that we're doing Invincible at the end of this?
I don't know.
Well, we're doing Invincible, but for this podcast. But anyway, so the thing is Zack Snyder and his family have been through a fucking lot.
Yeah.
His daughter,
5 years.
If you don't know, it was I think it was 2-3 years ago. It was right before. It was the year that Justice League was going to be coming out.
What year did that come out?
I think it was.
I don't think it was. I think it was the year
2018.
before because it was during production of the film.
So the news really became out when the film was getting closer to coming out. That's when it became public. This is what happened. That's why Joss Whedon took over. Zack Snyder's daughter committed suicide, and he basically he wanted to finish the film, and most of it had been shot, but then he said, "Look, I got to get home. I got to go," because they were filming in America. And then for the rest of the film, they were going to have to go across the ocean and film in I believe it was Europe. I don't know what country. I think it was England. They were going to shoot the rest of it. And he basically said, I can't do that. I've got to be here with my wife and my other kids. And so he stayed. And Joss Whedon went and finished shooting the film for whatever it's worth. And so this man has not had a film that had a positive rating on Rotten Tomatoes since 2007.
Damn.
2008. That's when Watchmen came out. Since then, he had Man of Steel, which is a 55, and then Batman v Superman is a 27.
Which
and then
deserves to be
and then Justice League is like a 43 or something. I mean, this dude has not had a successful. I mean, he's financially successful. Batman v Superman made money, but like,
I mean, they all made money.
But he hasn't had a film come out that had like critical success and like people were like, yeah, this is the Zack Snyder that we know and love, until Army of the Dead. And watching it, I was like, "Hey, look, this is definitely a return to form." Yeah, and it's like the opening, dude.
This is a fire.
The opening of it, I was like, the opening reminded me very much of Watchmen. It's very much what Zack Snyder likes to do. If you watch Dawn of the Dead and Watchmen, and then Army of the Dead, all three openings are very similar in like their tone and like the way that it's shot. Like it's like a montage. He loves to do opening montages,
which is it's important to note. I'm not gonna get too deep into it.
Yeah.
Army of the Dead does not open with a montage.
It doesn't open?
There is a full opening sequence.
Yeah.
That is followed by a lengthy montage that is an incredible montage.
Mm-hmm.
It is a really good montage.
It's really good.
Like,
it's on Netflix now too, which I'm gonna rewatch it soon.
Yeah, I've already watched it. You already
rewatched it? Yeah, did you like the rewatch? Was it just as good on the rewatch?
It was either the night of or the night after I watched it with.
It's probably the night after.
With Ricky and Graham, and I don't think Richard was able to make it. I can't really remember. Everything's kind of foggy. He might have been here.
But anyway, it's great. But it still has that montage in the beginning of the movie.
Yes.
Maybe it doesn't open with it. I don't think the Watchmen didn't open with a montage. I don't believe it did. And neither did. I don't think Dawn of the Dead opened with a montage.
I don't know if I've seen Dawn of the Dead, so I can understand.
Pretty sure it had a montage.
I don't
know. But he likes to do those, and it feels like a Zack Snyder film in the bed. Like it doesn't feel like it does not feel like Warner Brothers is in his fucking ear telling him what to do.
Yeah, they weren't like fucking with him the whole time, being like, "This is a studio."
It is a wholly Zack Snyder movie.
He made that movie.
And when it's a wholly Zack Snyder movie, and when you watch it, you can fucking tell, and it's so good. It's so much fun.
So from what I've read,
I'm gonna rewatch it, but it's probably gonna be up there with one of my definitely like number one or two Zack Snyder movies. It's really good.
So there will be, if I'm not mistaken, an animated series on Netflix that covers the time between the initial outbreak and the heist.
Is Dave Bautista gonna be in it?
From what I've heard, the voice cast will feature they didn't like name anyone specific in the article I read, but it did say that it will feature multiple actors from the film.
Dude, man, Dave Bautista's so fucking good.
No, Dave Bautista's the shit.
He's my favorite wrestler turned actor. He's my favorite. Telling you, man. Speaking of another one,
I'm thinking.
Another wrestler turned actor that everybody knows, the highest paid actor of all time, Dwayne Johnson's got Jungle Cruise coming out, and it looks fun.
Yeah, but also Dwayne Johnson couldn't act his way out of a paper bag. Dwayne Johnson sucks dick.
Do you think he sucks dick?
No, he's a god awful actor. Like, we'll say. So here's the thing, dude can make you laugh, but I mean, shit, I can make you laugh. Dog shit actor, god awful actor. He's dog shit.
Still have fun watching him though.
That dude is fun to look at.
The Rock? Yeah. It's The Rock.
Yeah. Have you ever just
actually, you know what?
laid eyes on that human?
I'm gonna actually have to disagree with you about the acting thing, only because I think he was actually the best part of the Jumanji movies, the new ones.
I will admit, haven't seen those.
Dude.
From what I've seen in The Rock, from what I have seen of The Rock, dog shit actor.
Fair enough.
But he is, like I said, fun to look at.
He is fun to look at. But he early on in his career, so he had a couple of really good movies that I think, goddamn, that one peaked. I don't know if they were, I want to say really good, but he had a couple of good movies. He had Walk the Line. No, Walking Tall. He had Walking Tall.
Walk the Line, I was like, bro, that was Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah,
Do not take away from the king.
Oh my god. Oh, you mean the greatest actor of our generation?
He's damn good. I don't know if I'd go that far.
Dude, I'm telling you.
He's damn good.
Well, he's not even of our generation. I mean, he's like 45 or something like that.
Like Tom Holland is like our generation.
I mean, he's okay.
I think he's like a couple years younger than me. I think.
He's younger. He's younger than you. Yeah, he's
No, I was sure I was younger than him.
He's younger. Much. Tom Holland's a year younger than I am. I'm pretty sure.
I will Google his age so we can be precise about this.
But no, I think
because if there's one thing we do, it's not fact check anything.
That's why we need to get it. We need to get a Jamie here. We need to get Graham here to be our permanent fact checker.
Oh, dude.
Think about that. And then every now and again he chimes in.
I actually love that. Yeah.
We could totally do that. We don't have the budget to pay him, but like
haven't seen him in 6 days. I miss him. 24 years old. Okay.
Yeah, he's younger. He's younger than
June 1st, 96. I thought it said January 1st,
no,
96.
He is older than me. Fuck, that's right. By like 2 months, he's older than me.
I read that as January 1st, 96. It was just like, I was gonna be like, oh, he's a New Year's baby. He's not a New Year's baby.
Well, you know what? I'm better looking. I'm fucking around. I'm not.
I was about to say, neither of us are.
I can't honestly. The only person I could think of that even he, I was like Jake Skinner maybe a little, but not even. Nah, Tom Holland's just more handsome than. He's a handsome dude.
I don't know.
You think he's more handsome than Jake?
No.
Or you think Jake's more handsome?
I think. No offense, if he hears this, I'm so sorry, Jake. I'm so sorry. Tom Holland is more attractive than Jake Skinner. But you know, a genuine human being that I know that I think is more attractive than Tom Holland.
Who?
Cole Johnson, baby.
Cole Johnson's fucking.
Cole Johnson is dude. He's like
you're peeking on me, bro.
Sorry, he's like 1 inch short of being the perfect male specimen.
Dude, Cole Johnson, like, swole daddy. We need to get him on this fucking podcast.
He is so.
Look,
the hardest.
Every time I see him, I just gotta slap his ass one good time.
I have done in my life was at one of our Oscar events. In the bathroom, you know, it's 2 urinals in a stall.
Mm-hmm.
I was at one of the urinals, doing my business. He comes in and he uses the urinal next to me. I at no point looked over. I stared straight ahead the entire, as you do at a urinal.
Yeah.
The hardest thing I've ever done in my life was to not just go, "Nice cock, bro." It was so hard. I wanted to say it so bad.
Dude, Cole and I love working on set with Cole. He and I, when we're on set together, shit gets fucking done. And like we're cutting up and joking the whole time, and we still get everything done.
He is the bomb.
Dude, being
I'm
on
pretty
his
sure
set,
the only people who have ever whose ass I have smacked, and who have smacked my ass on a set, it's you and Cole.
Dude,
I smacked Cole's ass. He smacked
working on Cole's film, dog. Working on Cole's movie was so fucking good.
His film, he good gamed me so bad. Mm-hmm. Like 30 minutes later, I was like, "Damn, he left a mark." That he got on it, dude.
Dude, look, dude, Dream Team lighting on his set though. Dude, those fucking bulbs. I gotta get a set of those bulbs, dog. I gotta get a set of those. I don't even remember what they're
called, but they were so good. So,
anyway, Armory of Dead, though, we gotta finish up.
Real quick. Okay. So, every spring semester at our college is what we call practicum season, which is where we all shoot our practicum film. He was the last, and it sucked because the best lights our program owned, they got after my set, but before his set. So we didn't have them on mine.
Would have been game changers.
Yeah, but I gaffed his, and we did have them, and they were out of this world. It was it 6 or 8 bulbs?
It was more than that. It was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, it was 8.
Case.
It was 8. It was 3, 2, and 3. So it was 8.
Yeah, 8 bulbs that you could Bluetooth your phone to and control them. Mm-hmm. You could make them like any color of the spectrum.
You could
any temperature of the spectrum
with the app.
You could take a picture of another light bulb, and then that light bulb would change to that color, both color, temperature, and hue.
Yep.
My god,
dude, we were in the fucking look. I was in the bathroom.
B&B, the Airbnb.
Yeah, the
my god,
Airbnb we shot in. I was in the bathroom setting up one light in the ceiling. This tall, sketchy ass ladder that was like rickety as fuck. At the top of that, setting that light up, and then we took a picture of that one and matched it to the other one that we wanted in the same room. We got this great dingy effect. Like, it was so fucking.
You have no idea how good it feels to be like in the bathroom, like using the restroom for a good 5 to 20 minute stretch, and then you hear the shout, "Alright, we gotta light the living room," and you're just like, "Alright, let me pull up my phone real quick," boop, and then it's lit, and then you don't have to worry about it. Oh god.
Oh dude, I had that shit. My phone. I had that shit connected to my phone. As soon as I figured it all out, and we had to kind of figure it out on the fly because we didn't get those till the day
okay.
of,
so I'll admit we had the video and how to control them like 3 days in advance, and we did not watch it, and then we were on set 3 hours into set. And they're like, "Alright, so the next set up's these bulbs," and I was like, "I don't know how to use these," and so we pulled it up and watched the video on it.
But after that, we had that shit mastered.
Oh yeah. And we
again.
just learned more as we went.
And we were like duo team on that fucking set. So like
awesome.
So you were filming your practicum, and because you were filming your practicum, I actually did the gaffing, the pre-production gaffing. So I helped him come up with what lighting he wanted to use, and then I handed that shit all over to you, and I was your best boy. And dude, we were fucking popping off on set, dog.
It was awesome.
It was I was just like, yeah. We had lights going from downstairs. We had like pictures of us like hanging out windows.
We had the
that was the first set. Well, Luke, that was the first set in. I haven't worked on the light team in probably 2 or 3 years on a film set, except for like small stuff that we do on our own for like fun.
Yeah.
But like on an actual practicum film set, which is as close to professional without being a paid gig as you can get, have not been on the light team in like 2 or 3 years. Which, if you guys don't know, for the longest time, I was the light guy. For a good like 2 years, I was doing gaffing on pretty much every set that I was on. And then Luke joined the team with me, and then we basically started switching off on gaffing duty. So he would gaff one, I would be his best boy. We'd switch, and I would gaff.
Now, if I'm not directing a film, I'm gaffing it, and I love it.
I moved over to like script. I started script souping a good bit too.
Have you seen Hayden's practicum?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, I came to the class.
There's one shot in that, and every time I see it, I was just like, I fucking lit that. This guy lit that. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know who gaffed The Godfather. Eat your heart out. No, it's
when they shot that whole scene at night with the
the entire wedding scene was shot at nighttime. Don't know if you guys knew that.
Francis Ford Coppola. If only Francis Ford Coppola hadn't directed Jack, he would have had best filmography.
The wedding scene of Godfather 1 was shot at night, which blows my fucking mind.
We always get off track. Anyway, Army of the Dead.
So, okay, let's not talk too much, but let's move on from that.
I just want to say, Zack Snyder, thank you for... Netflix, thank you for letting Zack Snyder actually just do his own thing. And Zack Snyder, thank you for making that movie. It was really good. And you should just... Fuck a paycheck, don't go back to Warner Brothers. You... Just keep making your own stuff.
He did say he was kind of done with the whole like Snyderverse bullshit.
Yeah, just make your own things. You know, you can make, and also Army of the Dead feels like a sequel to Overlord. Like I feel like if you watch those together, it's like they fit. I know it wasn't made for that, but even though the way that it looks, like the way it was shot and the way it looks very similar.
It's definitely not a grindhouse film. Not a grindhouse
part of it.
film.
Sometimes it felt like it to me.
Nah.
That's just
it's gory. It can be gory that being a grindhouse film. Like Tarantino's never been a grindhouse film.
Tarantino, you saying Tarantino's never done a grindhouse movie?
I mean,
are you trying to say? Have you seen Death Proof?
I haven't actually seen Death Proof.
No. Grindhouse as fuck. It is literally part of a double feature called Grindhouse.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's not his. It's his worst movie though. So.
Not surprised. Grindhouse movies aren't usually that good.
Yeah, I don't think they're made to be good.
Well, no.
But Overlord.
Have you seen Overlord?
What?
I love that movie.
I thought Overlord was the shit.
I don't think
it was a Grindhouse?
Did critically well. Overlord?
Yeah. Do you think that one was a Grindhouse?
Grindhouse is fuck, dude.
You think so?
I think so. I mean, maybe I'm just like out of my mind on what a Grindhouse might be, but I definitely thought because like it was grainy as shit, gory as I thought.
I need to rewatch it. Overlord's really it did critically okay. It's like an 82, 83.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. All right. Great movie. Love that movie. Saw it on my birthday.
Really
that's
what
we did for my birthday.
That's right.
We went to watch Overlord. It was fucking awesome.
Dude, that opening sequence when he's falling out the freaking plane.
Yeah.
Like
great fucking movie.
So
I love that movie.
J.J. Abrams produced that one, and then he went on. And then he went on to release the last Star Wars movie. And we were all just kind of like, "Oh, bud, what are you doing?"
Yeah, the worst Star Wars movie, second worst Star Wars movie.
Which one's the worst?
Episode 2.
Oh yeah, it was pretty fucking
Clone Wars is the worst Star Wars film.
We'll do a whole podcast. We'll do a podcast where we break down we totally break it down. Which like
we've talked a lot about that. But anyway,
we'll do it on the next one.
Yeah.
So anyway, moving on. We're gonna move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Okay. So, we'll probably review this one later on once you've seen it. But I actually just saw Quiet Place Part 2. I'll briefly say this. I saw Spiral. It's okay. If you want to waste your time.
Zero interest.
Yeah, if you want to waste your time, go watch it. It's
in my opinion, again, this is one man. In my opinion, the only Saw films worth watching are 1, 2, and 3. Definitely 2. Saw 2.
It looks better than the rest of them. I'll give it that. Like visually, it looks better. It does. Because the other ones, I'll be the first one to say the other ones don't really look that good. The first one looked okay, and you can give it the excuse if it's the low budget one that they're kind of making on a dime. But after that, they made a lot of money, and they still didn't look that good. Huh?
What was the budget for the first Saw film?
It was pretty cheap. It was like...
You know, Graham pulled it up.
Right? Dude, if Graham was here, I'd be like, hey, Graham, why don't you pull that up while I totally would. We got to get Graham.
Graham's been a guest before, hasn't he?
I think so. But he'd be the perfect guy in the chair, wouldn't he? We could give him his own mic, have that shit plugged in too. The Graham mic. Totally could.
I'm trying to think. Real quick, this is super off topic. If I don't mention it now, I will forget. I don't know his name. But since our last podcast, the mangaka for Berserk passed away.
The guy who wrote it?
Yes. Never finished it. Damn. Berserk has been going on for a while. He passed away.
It's like the 90s, right?
I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't know. He passed away. As far as we know currently, he did not leave notes for it to be finished. I think it may have been unexpected. But he passed away. Graham is a huge Berserk fan. Like, has like Berserk tattoos. He loves Berserk. So he's pretty bummed about it. I'm bummed about it. I've only read the first 9 volumes of the manga. Really good, though. Want to read more. Really good. But now that I know it'll never be finished, I don't know if I want to dive in.
I mean, they might still finish it, but it might not be the same. You think it's just going to end where it is?
Yeah, I do.
Oh.
I think that the most recent chapter he released will be the final chapter of Berserk. Which I hate that that's the case. But maybe he, like, one time told a friend of his that was a mangaka how he planned on doing things, but, like, even then, I don't know. So, but you were saying Quiet Place 2. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's cool. I saw that one today. Not to date the video too hard, but I saw it today.
We've already... I literally said it's the day before the final day of May earlier.
Oh, okay, yeah. You're right. But I went and saw it. It was really good. And we're going to probably go into a more detailed review at some point, or even if we don't review it, we'll definitely talk about it in more detail. Mm-hmm. But
correct me if I'm wrong. I'm probably pronouncing this wrong. I'm so sorry. Is it Jimon Hansu?
The guy from he's
Never Back Down, Guardians of the Galaxy.
He's always like that guy. Yeah,
Jimon Hansu. Mm-hmm. He's in that film, right?
Yeah, he is.
Awesome. I like him.
And if you have any questions, I can tell you some things, but I know
that's my only question.
Gotcha. But it's good, and I think it is like if the best we'll ever have to a double feature. It really is like the best double feature I've ever seen in my entire life.
Do you think there'll be a third one?
So
another question.
Yeah, that's
yes
fine.
Or no. Do you think there'll be a third one?
I can't answer that. It's not. I'm not saying I can't answer it because of spoilers. I'm saying I can't answer it because I could see if they really wanted to, they probably could, and maybe do more if they really wanted to. But the film does not end in a way of like setting up a sequel.
Cool.
And we'll talk more about the ending later.
I definitely would have gone to see that with you.
Yeah.
But I worked from 8 a.m. to 8:40 p.m.
I know you're planning on seeing it not this Tuesday, but the next Tuesday. But if something happens and you can't go before then, I'll totally go with you sooner.
I can definitely not go before then.
Okay.
Like tomorrow I'm with my folks. Tuesday I'm in Atlanta.
Well, I was saying if something happened and you couldn't go on Tuesday or something.
Wednesdays. I don't think we've ever mentioned this. Dewberry and I are currently playing in a PTU campaign, which for those of you who do not know and are unfamiliar, PTU stands for Pokemon Tabletop United.
Yep.
It is a Pokemon tabletop game, like Dungeons and Dragons, but we play Pokemon trainers who are, as a group, embarking on the Pokemon League Challenge, and it is a 4-man team of the two of us, our friend Graham, and another friend of ours who has not been on the podcast, I believe, Ed.
We should definitely get Ed on the podcast. Absolutely.
We need to bring him on and review, I'm blanking, the film that we watched with him and Graham? About the camp? The cult?
Yeah, dude. Oh, that's such a good movie.
We should review that.
We should rewatch that one too.
Yeah, we
that's
definitely
a really good one.
Review it, but it's the four of us are the players. It is being GM'd by Ricky, Fantastic time. But that's my Wednesday. Yeah. And then Thursday through Sunday I work. And then Monday we have my campaign. And then Tuesday I will go see the film. Tuesday the 8th.
But no, it's really good. It picks up right where the first one left off.
I don't even know that. You're talking too much.
Is that too much?
You said too much.
Oh, I didn't realize that was... I thought that was common knowledge. I apologize. Have you seen the trailers for the movie?
The first one.
Have you seen the trailers for the second one? Like the first trailer? One. Okay, it's in the trailer. It's just...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's in the trailer.
I watched it
I'm trying to keep it...
and not since then.
All right, I'm trying to keep no spoilers. I was just saying like that. What I just said was in the trailer. That's why I didn't think it was a spoiler. It's really good. It's really good. John Krasinski returns to direct it, and he's
John Krasinski.
So he co-wrote the first one. Yes. He wrote this one.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
I didn't know. Apparently, it's based off a book. I did not know that. It's because I didn't know that until at the very end. It said based off of characters from a book.
Huh.
So maybe it's not really based off of the book, but it's based off of the characters that were in a book.
Did it say that in the first film?
I don't remember.
Maybe he drew inspiration for certain characters of the second film from the book. That's possible.
It is possible.
I don't remember it saying that. I haven't watched that movie in a while.
It's shot beautifully, and if you can believe it, it's shot even. If you can believe it, it's shot even better than the first one.
Do I own that? I don't think
the first one. No, no, I don't think you own that one.
Who owns the first one? How did we watch that?
I saw it in theaters.
I didn't see it in theaters. I thought I bought it.
I don't see it over there on your stack over there.
Maybe.
Oh, we were gonna do another giveaway too.
Maybe
we just
rented it. Dude, whatever. We will. I swear.
We can't do a giveaway if nobody comments. That's the only thing.
That's how it works. We want to make people comment. Anyway, dude, I thought I could have sworn I bought that movie.
No, I don't see it. But
whatever.
If you can believe it, it's shot even better than the first one.
That is hard to believe. Great movie.
It is incredibly shot. Like there were multiple shots where any
good long takes?
Yeah, they got some pretty good long takes. Some pretty good, especially towards the beginning. They have a couple of really good long takes. Specifically, so they do something that's really cool. That and Chris Stuckman pointed this out, and he gave a spoiler-free review of it, which I listened to before I went and saw the movie myself, and because I was actually going to take notes, but then I was like, I didn't want to take notes.
You want to be that guy going to the movie theater with a notebook, right?
You don't want to be that guy, but I mean that's what critics do, and we review movies, and I thought about doing that, and then at the last second I decided not to. I remembered everything that he said about it, and he pretty much covers everything in movies. So I was going to keep my eye out for different things, and I did pick up on different things that he did that I have different opinions on. But one of the things that this film does really well is during action sequences, because I mean action sequences happen. It's a movie about aliens that are trying to. So action sequences. It's centered on the characters, and so if you watch movies like Godzilla or whatever, it'll show the characters reacting to things, but it won't show the things that are happening. This one shows the characters and the things that are happening all at once. Like you're watching, so the characters are in the foreground, but there's still so much going on around them, and it's not just around them; it's in front of them. It's all around them, and you see everything. But it's really, really well done.
Hell yeah.
And you see it almost through the character's reverse perspective and through their perspective. So it's really well shot. It's the tension is great. It opens the world up larger than the first one did. You know, the first one largely just took place at you see more of the world, what a sequel is supposed to do. It's really good.
Yeah, it really is.
It's really good.
Right,
and I cannot wait to actually get to talk about spoilers and deep things on it.
Before we get too far into it, though, I'm going to go ahead and change topics. Earlier in the podcast, I mentioned a coworker and friend of mine, Clint Chandler. Clint Chandler is a musician. He plays piano. Incredible guy. Pretty talented, too. He is currently in 2 bands. One of these bands is a band called the Seratones. And I am so proud because the Seratones. I don't know. Have you ever heard of the band the Black Pumas?
No.
Okay. They are rising in popularity right now. They're pretty big. I like them. I've only heard, I think, their first album. It's a pretty good album. It's a rock band. They, this past weekend, did a show in, I think, Austin, where they opened for the Black Pumas. This, summer into fall, they're doing an entire European tour where they open for the Black Pumas.
Seratones?
The Seratones.
So Mike D and all of them.
No, Mike D is not a part of the Seratones. It's
Okay.
just Clint. Clint's the
But
keys.
still, Clint, that's fucking
and then
awesome.
In October, I think it's in October, Riot Fest. For sure, I brought that up in the group chat into you. They're at Riot Fest. You know who else is at Riot Fest?
Who else?
I mean, one group that everyone will know, and then a personal favorite group of mine. Run the Jewel.
Wow.
Is at Riot Fest. They're gonna play at Riot Fest.
It's pretty fucking awesome.
You know who? Amigo the Devil is at Riot Fest. Sold out.
Where is Riot Fest?
I think it's in Chicago. Let me.
I mean, they're gonna have a good audience too.
Are they playing? Let me fact check that.
How many stages do you know are at Riot Fest? Because I know
never been.
Hangout Fest.
3,
has,
I think.
Okay.
Never been. Don't know. I think 3.
Hangout Fest had 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to say it was 4. The two main stages on the beach, and then one with a cover, and then one was just kind of there.
It is Chicago. Sold out. So I won't be able to go this year. But I have talked to Clint a couple times about being a roadie.
Yeah.
So I get in. Next year, though, I plan on buying tickets to next year's show. They have only announced one band that will be at next year's show. The headline of the fest for 2022, MCR.
MCR.
My Chemical Romance.
I know they were like completely broken up.
They got back together like 2 years ago.
Okay, I thought they only got back together for like a reunion thing, but I didn't know they got back together.
They're a band now again. I don't think they're gonna make any new music. I don't think they're gonna release any new albums. But I think they're just gonna tour together.
That's why I was like confused
with the discography they have.
Because I knew there was that reunion. I remember it was a huge thing when they broke up. I remember how fucking big it was.
Yeah.
I knew they had a reunion. I thought that was just it. I thought they just had a reunion. I didn't know they were still together.
They are together
again. Pretty fucking cool.
I don't think they will record new music. I'm not like up to date on what the fuck is going on with them, so I could be wrong. But
you think they should? Do you think they should headline? I mean, I know they're really big. I know they're still huge, but
if
do you think they should headline over?
If MCR is playing a show, MCR is your headliner.
Okay.
I think. Let me think.
I'm not.
Anyone that
clearly, I'm
top,
ignorant on MCR topics. So
I think. I mean, if God rest his soul, if Freddie Mercury was alive, Queen would definitely headline over MCR. Because I mean, who the fuck would headline over Queen?
I was like thinking like maybe Paul McCartney might, but no.
Well.
See, you know.
Just Paul McCartney? No. If they were all alive, the Beatles, yes.
What about the Rolling Stones? Do you think the Rolling Stones would? No.
Personally, no.
What about? Let's see.
Because I mean, we've talked in detail about this off podcast. I think Queen's the greatest rock band.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That ever recorded a song.
100%.
But anyway, enough about the Seratones. I just want to plug my buddy. They are on Spotify. If you hear this and want to check them out, they're incredible. It is. Let me double check the spelling so I don't tell you wrong. They're so good. They are. It is. Ooh.
I can spell it. I got it right here.
I got you.
I just go C.
It is just Seratones. Seratones.
Is it the or just Seratones?
It's Seratones.
Okay.
They're awesome. Check them out. Also, check out his other band, The Pollies. They are also really good. I actually know 2 members of The Pollies, Clint and one of his roommates, Spencer. Spencer is the bassist. They are also, in my opinion, a fantastic band. It is The Pollies, Polly spelled Pollies. You should definitely check out the song. I think it's called Summertime Suicide. Great song. It's my favorite song by them. They're awesome. But also, you should check them both out.
I'm personally not too crazy about this duo. This is just me. But I do think 21 Pilots probably go before MCR.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Really?
No.
You don't think
not in a million years would 21 Pilots premiere above MCR.
Isn't 21 Pilots like a lot bigger than they are though right now? And so like
they were definitely bigger than MCR in the years that MCR wasn't together. So here's the thing. The only thing that like 21 Pilots really has over MCR is they're still making new music. That being said, their newest album, like Icy and Scaly or something like that, is like a fucking 11-track album of skips.
Damn.
2, in my opinion, great songs on an 11-track. Let me pull up that album and double check the track list. I liked 2 of the songs on that album. The rest of them.
What about the Bikini Bottom marching band?
They would definitely open for MCR. They'd be like co-headliners, but MCR would definitely go last.
The Bikini Bottom marching band.
Scaled and Icy is in the album. It's.
You think that they would? You think that? You don't think their rendition of Sweet Victory would like headline that show?
No, because that was just literally they played the audio for Sweet Victory. 11 it's an 11-track album. 2 of the tracks, I believe they are The Outside is one of them, and Mulberry Street. Pretty good songs. The only 2 good songs on an 11-track album. That might be a hot take. That might be a hot take, but that is my personal opinion. It is an album of skips.
So what I've seen of like the structure, and coming out of my ass, I've only been to one like actual music festival. I went to Hangout Fest back in 2015.
I went to Warped Tour.
But the way that they had it staged, as far as who was playing, if there was a band that's currently like one of the most popular bands, they would play over someone who's like a veteran but doesn't really have new music coming out.
Yeah.
So like they had like I'll put it this way, they had who was it? I think they had Paramore played. It wasn't Paramore. It was I forget. It was a newer band. It was a group I didn't really listen to. They had them playing over groups like Paramore and Foo Fighters and
over Foo Fighters?
I'm pretty sure.
Are you kidding?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. Like it was like they structure it like
because
if there's a band that's
I would imagine Foo Fighters like.
No. It wasn't Foo Fighters.
Who's there? I would put Foo Fighters at right before the headline.
No, it wasn't Foo Fighters. Foo Fighters opened the first night. Foo Fighters opened up. No, like they were the headliner the first night.
Dude, stop playing with me. What the fuck?
Foo Fighters were the headliners the first night.
Were they good? Tell me, please.
Oh yeah, they're really good.
I'm so glad they were good.
I will say there was one thing I didn't like.
So nervous.
There was one thing I didn't like. They went, we're gonna play all night, and then they played for like an hour and a half.
Okay. So
I was like, you can play all night.
I have a buddy that went.
But his leg was all healed up, and he was like,
oh, that's awesome.
He was like jumping around and shit. So like, it was awesome. It was great.
Nice. I have a friend who went to a Foo Fighters concert. They toured, and he also said we're gonna go all night, and then they played like a 2.5 hour set, and then they left the stage for 10 minutes and came back on for another 2.5 hour set.
Damn, man.
They played all night long.
They didn't do that shit for us. I'll tell you what though. You know who? Yeah, I got you. So I went. So at Hangout Fest, I saw. So who were the?
Did you go? I'm sorry to interrupt you. Did you go to the ones that Mumford & Son was at?
No, I didn't.
I know you went to one, and I know that they've been there. So here's the thing about Mumford & Son. I like that band, and despite all the criticism, I'm ready to admit, every one of their songs are the same song. They just changed the lyrics. But I'd be goddamn
if they don't sound good.
If that one song isn't a really good song, I'd love to see them.
Yeah, there's like 20 renditions of it.
There's more than that. I think my favorite song with them is probably I remember the name. Shit, the album might be Babel. but it's definitely the song of Babel by them.
I'll say this though, Mumford & Son, their contribution to Inside Llewyn Davis, one of the best original soundtracks I've ever heard in my entire life.
Inside Llewyn Davis. On music, let's talk about the Sparks Brothers biopic documentary coming out from Edgar Wright.
Well, real quick. About the Hangout Fest. Oh, I heard that too.
Yeah, that didn't feel good.
Almost chipped a tooth there. But the groups that I saw at Hangout Fest that were like the standout ones that had my attention that were good. Foo Fighters opened up. They were really good. I think they are not the people I would want to close the show on like the second or third day, but they were a great like first night opening headliner.
I think they'd be good for the second day. Again, I don't know if I would end the fest on Foo Fighters. They
were just a great way to kick off the 3-day music festival. It was them. My favorite band was theirs, My Morning Jacket, and I was front row in front of Jim James for that one.
That's like
locked eyes with him. Like we had moments and shit. Like
when L Storm was on at the time, they were my favorite band. I was like against the railing in front of the stage. Yep. And they did Fuck With an Anchor, and Christopher Bowles, who, a story for a later time, we're not going to get too into it because we're going to move on like not too long from now. But Christopher Bowles, their lead singer, in that song, he would say "fuck you" with a fucking anchor. He would flip the crowd off, and then he to say "fuck," and then point at someone in the crowd to say "you." And he looked at me, he flipped me off, and then he pointed at me when he said it, and I was just like, I can die happy. And then we ended up like hanging out with him for like the majority of the evening sets. It was awesome.
Getting beers and shit.
We drank the shit out with him. But moving on.
But so. It was Foo Fighters were really good.
Sorry.
My Morning Jacket was fucking awesome. I've seen them twice.
I'm sure. I've only heard a couple songs by them. Damn good though. I've heard.
I've actually recently downloaded pretty much their entire discography, and I just let it go. I do it when I'm working out. It's not the best music to work out to, but it's relaxing as shit. I can imagine
it wouldn't be.
But it's relaxing as shit. Specifically when I'm running. It's music I listen to when I'm running. But
I can feel that.
So, they're obviously amazing. I love them. I saw them again like a few months after that. I went to Birmingham and saw them. Paramore was really good. Houndmouth, they were on a smaller stage during the middle of the day. So they have a song called Darlin' that is fucking awesome.
Darlin', what have I? I'm singing
no.
Clear a song I know.
But
I know it's not the same song.
It's a song that I love to play when I play live. I play a cover of their song Darlin'. It's great. They were really good. Tove Lo was there. She was pretty good. If anybody knows who that is. Zach Brown Band. Zach Brown Band? Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Zach Brown Band's live shows, I've seen them live twice. I want to go see them in Colorado at Red Rock Canyon. Zach Brown Band, when they play a live show, it's probably the best live show I've ever seen in my entire life was watching Zach Brown Band on the second night. And dude, they don't just play their own music. They play actually a good bit of covers too that are really fucking good. And one of them they did. So the great thing about the Zach Brown Band is although it is Zach Brown and his band, he's really good about having showmanship and sharing the spotlight with his bandmates. They had a drum off at one point between the drummer on the drum set and the percussionist on like a percussion set, and like it was so fucking. I say it was drum off. It was like a duo thing between the two of them. They did one of my favorite things, the most badass things I've ever seen at a fucking live show, was the bassist for Zach Brown Band, this older dude with a big, like, long gray beard, standing there center stage, wailing on a bass, singing, belting out Enter Sandman as the ocean breeze.
No way!
As the ocean breeze is like flowing his beard to the side. He's just like doing this. And I was like, oh, what the fuck is going on? I fucking love this. And like they at one point they had like all five. They had like four of the artists that were not like on a kit, like walk around and play in a fucking line doing a kicks. As
like the can?
Yeah, dude. As they were playing and singing, dude, I'm telling you, Zach Brown Band, it is my dream that one day they will play the Super Bowl. I doubt it's gonna happen, but they would be. They are an American band, and they are the perfect artist to play. They are the perfect artist to play, the perfect American band to play at an American sporting event.
So
by God, and the last one was Beck, and he sucked. Beck sucked massive.
Beck's got one good song, whatever.
Dude, he's got for some reason he's got multiple critically acclaimed albums, like full albums that are like critically acclaimed that everybody loves or that critics love. Nobody can name more than like one or two songs of his, and he sucks live. He absolutely sucks.
So I'll never forget the time. It was the last time.
Sorry, Beck, if you ever hear this, but like, bro,
fuck you, Beck.
Just do better.
We're not sorry. Fuck
just
you.
Do better.
Get better live. Don't overproduce your music. So I'll never forget. I think it was the last time you went to Haleyville with me. It was for that fish fry.
Mm-hmm.
We listened to Zach Brown Band the entire way home. I'll never forget. We like.
It wasn't the last time I went with you, but it was.
Was that the last time?
No, we went to the Super Bowl together. We went and watched Super Bowl at your folks' place. The fish fry was before that.
At my folks' place?
Yeah, because your mom made them fucking chocolate covered Oreos that I fucking just fawned over. Yeah, straight up.
Dude, the whole last time we watched that here.
Remember your niece was there and she was in her crib.
I remember.
But still, the fish fry.
Anyway, the fish fry. It was the one before the last time. I remember we listened to Zach Brown Band the whole way, stopped halfway in the Russellville Walmart, went and bought some beer, drank a beer in the parking lot, get back in the car, went but the fish fry, drinking shit in a beer. That was a great time. Great time.
Zach Brown Band is an amazing band. I mean, their last album kind of blew. It wasn't that good. It was their first bad album. It was not a good album. They switched up their genre and it just wasn't.
I haven't heard it.
It didn't work. I wouldn't waste my time with it.
All right, so
but everything else they've done, the rest of their discography is fucking awesome.
So we got a lot of other stuff to talk about.
Yeah,
we're gonna move along. We're gonna push that to a different podcast. So. Yeah. For now, what we're gonna do is, I guess, we'll hop into that good old Invincible review.
You don't want to do.
Nah, we'll talk about that stuff later.
Okay.
Because I'm not fully prepared. We were gonna talk about Biomutant and the Mass Effect trilogy remake. I have not beaten Biomutant yet. I think okay. So real quick. The path that I chose, you can do a couple different paths in that game, and the path that you take dictates what you need to do to beat the game. And it's 2 super important quests. One of those quests I am halfway through, and the other quest I am 25% through. I will try and beat it before our next podcast so I can give my full opinion on that game. So far, all I can say is the gunplay is very good. Apart from that, it's nothing special. My current opinion, I would give it a 6.5 overall. But once I beat it, I will give a full opinion. But yeah, tonight on this episode, we will be reviewing the Amazon Prime animated series that is adapted from the comic book Invincible, which was I forget the name of the guy that wrote it. It's the same guy that did Walking Dead.
Robert Kirkman.
That is the name. That is the guy.
Mm-hmm. I was pulling up our criteria for reviewing because we usually do 10. I don't think we're gonna do 10 this time. So, Invincible.
Yeah.
Really fucking good.
So, I'm a big fan. I'm going to say this, knowing full and damn well I haven't watched The Boys yet. I'm a big fan of things that deconstruct their genre. I love Cabin in the Woods. It's one of my favorite horror films.
It's really good.
It's in my opinion the best deconstruction that I've seen. But Invincible, it's kind of a deconstruction of the superhero genre, and it's out of this world. So, for those of you who do not know, who have not seen it, this will be a spoiler-filled review. So, if you have not seen Invincible and plan on watching it, stop now. We will give a timestamp to our score. Where in the score we will not give a spoiler at all, but the rest of our conversation will be spoiler filled. So 8 episodes, 40 approximate minutes an episode. Incredible.
Yeah.
The story is basically the main character Mark is the son of what was it, Norman?
Yes.
Norman and I forget.
No, Nolan.
Nolan, you're right. Nolan and
he was just Nolan.
I forget the mother's name, but Nolan is like Earth's greatest superhero.
He's basically like Superman.
Yeah, but not as strong. Yeah, he is Omni-Man. He has a plethora of superpowers, mainly flight, super speed, super strength, and super endurance, basically.
Yeah. So I actually think I was actually like watching some stuff. I actually think he's like physically stronger than Superman, and I think he's faster than Superman. He doesn't have the laser vision and stuff.
Okay.
But he can also do things that Superman can't do.
So all I'll say is in the comics, Superman is only as strong as he needs to be. If he needs to be stronger than Omni-Man, he is stronger than Omni-Man. That's not important. Anyway, so he is like Earth's greatest hero. And in the beginning, we see a group of 2 people called the Mulder twins, who are my favorite characters in the series, attacking the White House. The Guardians of the Globe, which is basically the Justice League, along with Omni-Man,
who is not a member.
He is not a member. Yeah. They come in, they stop the Mulder twins, and then it's the first episode is basically about this teenage son of Nolan, who's Omni-Man, named Mark, who like doesn't know when he's gonna get his powers,
if he's gonna get them at all.
Yeah, and the whole thing is Nolan is a Viltrumite.
There's a planet called Viltrum,
who is an alien species from the planet Viltrum, who has come to Earth to protect it from the evils of the galaxy. And then Mark develops his powers, and it's this whole deal. The first episode is basically like he comes of age, he gets his powers, and then Nolan's like, "Oh, well, I gotta train you. You know, we gotta be superheroes together."
Father and son superhero duo.
And the first episode is like every single superhero story you've ever seen until the end. At the end, it kind of cuts away from everybody, and you see all of the members of the Guardians of the Globe receiving an emergency message. They need to meet at headquarters. So they all meet together, and they're all, who called us, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, Omni-Man busts in with the quickness and very brutally murders all of them. Like,
it's a whole fight. Like, Omni-Man got his ass beat pretty hard throughout the fight.
Yeah, Omni-Man ends up pretty messed up, but he brutally murders everyone.
The first one he kills is Red Rush.
Yeah, the Flash character, Red Rush. He just squishes his head like a grape.
And so I actually think about that. I was thinking about is, okay, so in the moment, like, we know how strong Omni-Man is. He can basically just do that, right? You know how, like, it took him, 20 seconds as he was holding him and squeezing tighter? Mm-hmm. It wasn't 20 seconds. We were seeing that. I know. We were seeing that through Red Rush's. I didn't even think about that. I thought it was 20 seconds. No, it happened like that. It was in an instant. But for Red Rush, that's 20 something seconds. I mean, he's just sitting there getting his head squished.
He squishes Red Rush's head. He takes War Woman's mace and turns, I don't remember his name, but this was Aquaman into fucking red silly putty. He
blew his brains all over the place. He took the Batman character, he grabbed him by the ankle and threw him on the ground. He basically did the Hulk.
He does the Hulk v Loki thing. Except to Darkwing.
It only takes 2 times, and the dude's head, the whole dude's head just explodes from hitting the ground so hard. Throws it into another character who basically carries oh my god.
The Martian Manhunter character, I guess he just ripped his brain out. I don't really know how that killed him.
The Green Ghost. He takes Batman basically and throws him into the Green Ghost. Her powers are that she can basically turn herself.
Suck.
That's her power. She can turn herself into you can still see her, but she basically can pass through things. Things can pass through her.
She's a Kitty Pryde from X-Men.
She turns. She doesn't do her powers, so she can catch the body. And as soon as she catches the body, Omni-Man just punches her right through the head.
Yep.
And then uses her to block the water attack from the Aquaman dude.
And then after he kills her, it's basically down to War Woman, and the Immortal. He grabs War Woman by the head and just turns her neck the wrong way.
She falls to her knees and coughs on her fucking cape
and like covers it in blood. And then he's fighting Immortal, and he just whole ass karate chops Immortal's head off.
So a little backwards. He punched Immortal through the gut.
Yeah, he did.
First,
yeah, he like impelled.
And then War Woman came down. He grabbed her and turned her head.
Yeah.
And Immortal's sitting there saying, "Why? Why?" And he just doesn't even answer. He just karate chops his head off. And here's the deal. Immortal is the closest thing that Earth has to an Omni-Man that's not Omni-Man. Besides Mark, because Mark is Viltrumite. But besides Mark being literally a Viltrumite himself. Immortal is the closest thing they have. At this point,
we know he is just half Viltrumite. But that does come up later, that he's not.
The blood is so,
entirely. Yeah, Viltrumite blood is so pure that even a half Viltrumite may as well be a full Viltrumite because of how pure their blood is and how strong it is.
And, in fact, I'll tell you something. You know what I won't? It's a spoiler for the comics that I found out that I don't think you
I don't mind. I'm going to read them, but like I won't be offended.
The spoiler is that Omni-Man goes to another planet to live.
And has a kid that's blue-skinned?
No, he has a kid with a...
spoiler then.
Well, that's not, from what I know, the kid's not blue-skinned because I saw a picture from the comic. He has a kid with an insect creature that's the main race on that planet, and the kid comes out looking just like a human baby because the Viltrumite blood is so pure.
I know... Okay.
Unless he has multiple kids across the universe.
Well, we'll get into that later.
So anyway.
He does. He has a kid with someone, and the kid comes up blue-skinned, and that's the reason he turns against the Viltrumite Empire, is because that kid is defective. Anyway, the first episode's incredible. And they're all incredible.
And what I was getting at is that I was shook because Immortal is like... And it's retrospectively shakes me even more after seeing how powerful Immortal can actually be. Like, we don't really know his full power set. We kind of figure, he can fly and he's super strong. Dude can fly at like Mach 3 speed. Like, dude is
fast.
And strong.
He covered America in like a minute and a half, 2 minutes.
And he for a couple minutes gave Omni-Man a run for his money. I mean, they had a
until Omni-Man was finally just like, all right. But anyway. So
he just doesn't have the endurance that Omni-Man has. That's the problem. Like he basically
does anybody?
Well, so what I'm getting at is I think Immortal basically has a very similar power set to Omni-Man as far as strength and speed, but he doesn't have the endurance that Omni-Man has. So if they're fighting each other,
I'm sure
Immortal's
a
human. Immortal's a human.
But anyway, we're not gonna get like too far into it. The main plot is after Omni-Man kills the Guardians. It is a story of him training his son Mark to be the hero that Earth needs, while also trying to avoid the detectives and the government who are trying to discover what happened to the Guardians.
Yeah, they want to know who did it, and then when they find
why.
out and why. The big part is why. So that's the huge question throughout the whole show is why did Omni-Man do this?
Yeah, so the characters... You find out that they've basically known the whole time that... Not the whole time, but
for the majority of it.
Cecil found out very quick.
It was at the end of the second or third episode, that the demon Darkblood...
Darkblood was introduced episode 2, I think, at the funeral for the Guardians.
I think it's episode 3, he was like...
I think it was 3 or 4.
It was early.
So anyway, we you know most of the story that the characters know that Omni-Man did it.
At least the government does.
Cecil suspects Omni-Man from like the second he lays eyes on the murder site. He knows, but he wants to find out why, and the whole time we need to know why, and we do not find out the answer to the final episode. But the point is throughout this adventure...
Was it 6 or 8 episodes?
It was 8 episodes.
8, okay.
8. The point is Mark goes through a lot of trials with like fucking school life, his relationship with his girlfriend Amber, and a bunch of other things, but we're gonna skip all the boring shit, and we're gonna get to the Mulder twins, baby. The Mulder twins are the best characters in my opinion. They are clones. I am convinced. So it's like one of them thinks that they're the original, but I think they're all clones. I think the original Mulder died years ago, and that they are just constantly cloning one another in a process where they do not know who the original is, but the audience past a certain point does. So, and their entire soundtrack is composed of RTJ.
Are they your favorite, or do you think they're the best characters?
I don't think they're the best characters. They are my favorite. I think Omni-Man is the best character. I think he is like the perfect flawed hero.
Let me tell. Well, I don't think he's a hero, but I get what you mean.
He is a hero.
He was a sense. He was a false hero. Like he pretended to be a hero until the day came that he had to.
He is a hero to Earth until
until Mark gets his powers.
No, even then he was still a hero because he stopped the kaiju.
But the reason,
but hold on, he was a hero to Earth until he had to stop being a hero to teach Mark that lesson. That being said, that lesson was so extreme that I cannot in good faith say that he would be a hero after that.
I personally I don't think he was ever a hero. I think he pretended to be a hero for 20 years. I don't think that means that he was a hero. Like, he was only doing that stuff to get in people's good graces, not because he actually was trying to save people. I think the only reason that he did that was so that he could get into the government and the Guardian of the Globe's good graces, because he was trying to manipulate them for 20 years. I don't think he was ever actually doing it.
He needed to be in the good graces of the Guardians in order to just fucking murder them.
Yeah, but I think he did that anyway.
That's besides the point.
I mean, we're getting into theories.
I think Omni-Man is the best character. He's not my favorite.
I think, personally, the best... So my personal favorite character is Cecil.
Cecil's so cool.
But you know who I think is actually Walton Goggins. Also from Alabama.
Actor.
Oh, dude, I love Walton Goggins, dude.
Well, it's real quick. Let me side note. The cast of this show.
We'll get into that.
Oh my god.
We'll get into that. When we get to the acting portion, when we're breaking it down, we'll get into that. But let me tell you. Cecil, I think, is the best character.
That's a good choice.
No, he's my favorite character. Who I think is actually the best character, and you'll probably disagree with me on this, but who I actually think is the best character is Robot. I think Robot is the best character. I think
he would definitely be in my top 4.
I think he's
I don't disagree with you.
So, on a grand scale, he probably doesn't have the most compelling story, but on a private, personal scale, I think he has
It's very powerful.
It's very powerful. So I'll give the rundown.
Yeah, go ahead.
Robot is a character who is a hero that's part of the team, the teen team called...
Was he a teen team guy?
Yeah, he was. He was part of their team. And then he joined... After the Guardians were wiped out, the new Guardians, and he joined. He was the leader of the new Guardians.
They held a tryout for it.
Well, he was running that trial. Like Cecil
came
to him
he ran it, but they did hold a trial. Mm-hmm. Like a tryout.
But he was part of the team of teenage ones, which he's not a teenager, but he was part of their team.
Think Teen Titans.
Yeah. So he is
cool.
So the whole time we're watching the show, we aren't sure where the robot is. All we ever see is one of his robots. And
because we're led to believe that is the robot.
Yeah. That robot is actually just a robot. Yeah. So the whole time we're watching the show, we are led to believe as an audience that Robot is just this robot that has very high intelligence. And he's basically the team leader. He comes up with strategies. The robot is doing all these cool things. He's just very smart. It's like Brainiac, but good. And then we later find out, and it features the Mulder twins.
Yeah.
That he's not he is not a robot. He is actually a very very harshly deformed human that lives in a vat of some sort of liquid that keeps him alive.
Yeah, he seems to be the size of not quite a newborn child, but
a toddler
slightly larger than a newborn child,
deformed,
vastly deformed, and he is unbelievably intelligent, but physically completely undeveloped,
and his brain's developed and pretty much nothing else.
Yes.
And he lives in this vat of water, but he has control.
He calls it a mechanical tomb from which he never intended to escape.
Mm-hmm.
He built it to never escape.
So he controls apparently more than just one robot, multiple robots, all at once.
And we find that out.
It's like episode 6 or 7.
After the bout with is it Battle Beast?
Yes. Because he was destroyed. His robot was destroyed.
Like Thundercat's Lion-O, but on steroids.
Anyway, so he goes to the Mulder twins. The thing is there's a member of the team of the New Guardians that he is in love with. Monster Girl. Who her story is that she can turn a witch cursed her. And she can turn into this monster, and over time she's learned to control it.
Think like a Bruce Banner on Hulk.
But think about it this way: every time she turns back from the monster, she loses a week off her life, or it makes her younger. Makes her a week younger.
She doesn't lose a week. Yeah. She de-ages week.
That's a better way to phrase it. She de-ages 1 week.
So she's like what, like 24, 25
in the body of a 12-year-old. And so, but she's got the mentality of a 25-year-old just in the body of a 12-year-old.
Yes.
And Robot is in love with her because, in a way, she's like him. She's trapped in a body that does not actually reflect how they are and how they feel. And so he goes to the Mulder twins, and since the way that they clone themselves, they build a body, and then they get on a table and they transfer their mind. They copy their mind to that body. And they do it in a way that...
They do it so perfectly that neither of them know...
who the clone is.
For sure who is the original.
Because
the clone wakes up thinking he's the original.
Yep. And the one who did it doesn't know if he was the original or not. And they do that so that...
The one who did it knows he's the original. It's just the clone also knows he's the original.
Well, that's what I'm getting...
Because it's like they copy... They don't copy certain things. They copy everything.
Everything. And so he gets them to make him a body. And the body that they chose to do it of, that he wanted it to be done of, was somebody who he sees to be like a perfect male specimen of human male.
No. It's not that he considers Rex to be perfect. It's that he notices Monster Girl finds Rex interesting, and so he picks Rex as the subject.
Yes, sorry.
Which, fuck Rex.
Awful character. Rex is a piece of shit. I don't like Rex at all either. So he...
love his voice actor.
Yeah. So he copies Rex's. They clone Rex's body out of a DNA that he pulled from Rex.
He kind of suction cups the blood out of his shoulder.
Yeah, and they make the body though not the age of Rex, even though the Mulder twins typically do their own age. They made it a younger Rex, like 14.
Yeah,
like a 14-year-old Rex.
He matches he makes the body to match Monster Girl's age.
Yeah, and he So he then...
Monster Girl's body's age.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So they so he's like 30, 33, something like that. And so they take his body, put it on the table, and they actually installed inside of the new body, they have installed a way to control all the robots through his body. They
so he ends up being like
air,
kind of like an Iron Man.
And air is actually toxic to his skin. It starts killing him. Oxygen
is toxic to him.
And so
because of his deformities.
Yep. And so they put him on the table. It transfers over. There's actually a problem because of how smart he is that they did not compensate for the brain size.
Yeah, no, I think it was brain. I think it was like something specific in the brain they didn't compromise.
I thought it was the brain.
But,
no, it was the size deviation in the brain.
They didn't they didn't compensate for how brilliant this guy is. Like his brain power just overpowers their system.
So, they transfer the brain over, and then when he gets out, he starts controlling a whole bunch of things, but he has a healthy young body.
It is important to note we'll just call him Robot. The robot in the new body is he says I didn't expect this kind of continuance. It feels like I went to sleep in one body and woke up in another.
Yep.
And then he talks to the deformed robot, and he was he tells him, I'm sorry that I ended up being me and it couldn't be you over here. And the deformed robot tells him, he's like, it's okay, this was always the plan, I need you to do it. And he takes the mask off of the deformed robot and lets the deformed robot suffocate to death.
Yep. And he even when he wakes up, he says he almost starts. I think he almost started crying. He said, "I didn't know if it was going to be me or not."
Yeah.
Like it's heartbreaking.
I did not expect this kind of feeling.
And the OG robot dies. Mm-hmm. He dies on the table. And it's a very heartbreaking scene.
With a mental yet not physical clone of robot.
Yeah, and it's just a beautiful scene.
Robot is a very complex character that is definitely worth paying attention to.
And then even after that, like, it's still, like, he goes to the team. Specifically Rex doesn't like it, but also fuck Rex, so I don't really give a shit how he feels about it. Dude. I don't like him at all. He's
one of my favorite characters.
He's easily the character I hate the most.
Love his voice actor. His voice actor is so awesome, but fuck that character. I hate Rex.
He's a fucking douchebag. But still, Robot is such a good character.
But anyway, so, like, again, the overall story.
Yeah.
Mark grows in his powers, and then everybody, like some of the important characters, learn for sure that Nolan killed the Guardians. And Nolan decides that he has to confront Mark and explain to Mark what he did and why. And then in the final episode, they fight a giant kaiju and immortal who comes back to life.
He's immortal. Apparently that's the way his powers work.
Yeah, because of the Mortar Twin. The Mortar Twins bring him back, but also his whole thing is like he just comes back to life because he's
and
immortal.
The way that works is like it. So he has to have his body put back together.
Yeah.
So if you put his pieces together, they will come back together, and he will. So the way you actually have to kill him is separate him and do that.
Yeah.
But like,
so he kills Immortal, and then he confronts Mark, and he tells Mark that he is a member of Viltrum. But the way Viltrum worked is long ago, they pretty much, in one giant battle royale, eugenics style, killed all the weaklings of their planet, became the most powerful species, and then started an empire. And his whole purpose is that he is at Earth to weaken Earth to a point that the Viltrum Empire can come in and conquer it. And Mark hears this, and he's like, "No, dog, I'm not cool with that." And Nolan's like, "Well, that's gonna happen." And he's like, "No, it's not gonna happen." And so Nolan basically uses Mark to destroy multiple cities and kill thousands of people. And when I say this, I don't mean that he tricks Mark into doing it. I mean he physically uses Mark as a destructive instrument by throwing Mark through buildings and killing people, holding Mark in front of a train that is moving to mulch the entire inhabitants of the train. He uses Mark to create a crater that caves in multiple buildings. He literally uses Mark as a tool
of mass destruction,
as a physical tool to kill thousands of people, only to hurt Mark in a way and break him physically so that Mark will know that Viltrum is the only way to live, and that if he does not conform to the Viltrumite way, he will only cause further destruction.
And he tries to also convince him after beating him to pulp. He's like,
he beats Mark into red street tar. Honestly, he beats the shit out of him.
And he says to him, "You will live. You will live to see every insignificant being die because you were going to live for thousands of years."
Yeah. But everyone you know will be long gone by the time you look. So basically, Viltrumites, the longer they live, the slower they age. So he tells Mark, everyone you know and love will be long gone before you even look like you're 30. So he asks him, in 500 years, what will you have?
And Mark, through his blood and broken teeth, just is able to muster, you, Dad. I'll have you. And that...
I'd still have you. And
I'll still have you. And that breaks Nolan.
Yeah, Nolan, like, looking at him, fist raised, ready to continue to beat the bloody shit out of Mark.
He had, like, a vision.
He just, like, you know, the whole dad thing where he, like, can't do it.
And he launches himself into space.
Away.
He launches himself into space and just leaves Earth.
Yeah. Some spoiler alerts. I personally have received a couple of spoilers about the comic, and I will mention those. The show I've heard skips around a lot, but what I know about the comic is that eventually a female Viltrumite comes to Earth, meets Mark, and rapes Mark. They have a kid together. There's, I think, Kid Invincible is his name. But I also know that Nolan does in fact turn his back on the Viltrumite Empire and helps Earth in the fight against the Viltrumite invasion.
Yeah, if so, let me break it down to you real quick. If I'm Cecil, right, and Nolan just left, and we just avoided Nolan literally tearing the Earth apart, because we've seen that Omni-Man. So in another scene in the show, he goes to another planet and just wreaks havoc on that planet.
Oh, dude!
Just
like
decimates the planet.
In a matter of hours, destroys that entire planet.
It really probably wasn't even that long.
So, yeah, I'm being generous.
Yeah, like honestly, for me, it felt like a couple of minutes.
Yeah,
he went and did it.
He fucked that planet.
Omni-Man leaves Earth. If I'm Cecil, I'm like, now is the time to prepare. So here's what I'm doing. In an earlier episode of the show, there's a bad guy who's a genius who takes people and turns them into basically cyborgs.
Yeah.
That are very powerful. They even they beat Omni-Man up for a minute, and then Omni-Man killed them.
He does conquer them eventually, but they waste some time.
They take him and they have him like building more and more robots. Just robots though, not cyborgs.
They basically build an army. No, they are cyborgs.
Are they?
They are soldiers who died in defense of the country that have been brought back to serve their country once more. That's specifically what Cecil says.
So he's building more cyborgs that are really strong. Here's what else I would do. I'm taking the Mulder twins, and I'm gonna get them. Dude, I'm getting them because I'm gonna start making clones of. I'm gonna start making clones of Immortal.
Okay, so we don't know for a fact that they have Nolan's blood, but they definitely have Mark's blood. Get the Mulder twins out of prison, be like, yo, we'll give you freedom, but you gotta work for us. And then just make them clones to fight the Viltrumites.
Yeah, I'm talking about and then we know Mark's a good guy. We know he's got his heart in the right place.
He definitely does.
He took a beating for he
did not take a beating. He took a thrashing. Like he got
hit. Hey, look, you know how you make jokes like I'm gonna beat your ass down the street, I'm gonna drag you down. I'm gonna drag you down the block. Nolan dragged him across the planet.
He got eviscerated.
So make clones of him, even if you have to put like mind control on them so that they aren't him, so it's not just him running around. But I'm talking about I'm making clone bodies. I'm talking about make clone bodies of him and then turn him into cyborg.
Yeah, but anyway, we won't know what will happen.
I'm talking about if I'm Cecil, I'm building the armies of armies that I can.
Which he did build an army.
But I build even more. Building even more.
But anyway, we don't know what will happen because neither of us have read the comics. I do plan on reading them like as soon as I can get the time.
Can't wait.
But anyway, so let's go ahead and hop on into our criteria here because we are going to review the season.
All right. Is this where you want the timestamp, or do you want the timestamp when we give the
No, we'll give our criteria with some more discussion, and we'll timestamp. But anyway,
so we're gonna jump right into it.
We talked about directing,
writing,
animation, acting, and
pacing. So it's pacing then acting.
Okay.
Acting's the one I want to finish on. Yeah.
Yeah. So directing. It was good. I feel like I personally do not know who directed each episode, but at no point did I feel like anyone in the cast phoned it in. I feel like as far as a voice cast goes, we got the best of the barrel from each person. Not like perfection, but they definitely give a good performance. I would give an 8 to directing. What about you?
I think, I think if I'm looking at directing of a series or season, I can't look at one episode and say that this episode's direction and then that episode's direction. I look at the series as a whole and the direction from the beginning to the end. And I think that some of this has to go into writing, which we'll talk about. And there were some writing problems that I had. But as far as directing goes, I think there was a clear vision that they had from the beginning to the end. And it actually strays pretty far from the comics in some ways, as far as like when things happen. But I think that Robert Kirkman did a great job setting up this series in this show, and there's changes that he, as a writer and producer, made behind the camera that he changed from his own original work that he thinks were better, in retrospective looking on it now. But I think the direction was pretty good. I'd like to see. I think some of the art direction was a little shoddy in places, which can kind of go into animation.
Yeah.
But some of that has to do with like background stuff being CGI and not the 2D. You know what I'm talking about?
100%. I know what you're talking about.
But as far as direction, I mean, I would probably give it about an 8. Yeah, 7.5 maybe. I'm trying to be honest about what I can say about the direction of the show, and I'm not sure where I should be putting criticism and praise towards between directing and writing on the show.
I feel you.
So it didn't seem like there was anything stand out about directing where I could say, yeah, this director did this very well, but it did seem like there was a clear vision for each episode. I will say, like, for example, the first episode, I think the direction of making it feel like every superhero show or movie you've ever seen until the very end, and then the twist and the way that they had that all set up was very well done.
I feel like episode 1 and episode 8 were definitely like leaps and bounds beyond the other 6.
So I think I'll go with you on an 8 on that. Okay, we're moving on to writing. Mm-hmm. So I actually had some problems. I had a lot of praise for the show. For specifically the first episode and the last episode, and I think the overall story is really well done. Mm-hmm. The plot line of this show was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the relationship between most of the characters was awesome, specifically Omni-Man and his wife. I think that, like, and Omni-Man and Mark, I think, like, building the relationships between most of these characters was great. I did not like what they did with Amber.
Dude, Amber and specifically, is like as much as I like the character Amber, hands down my biggest complaint. By the way, Omni-Man's wife, Mark's mother, is Debbie.
Debbie, that's
Debbie
right.
Grayson.
Debbie, is she's really cool too.
She's awesome.
And the thing about Amber,
she's like one of the most badass characters for being just a regular human. She's so fucking badass.
Well, it's like there was a moment in the first episode where Mark had just gotten his powers, and his mom told him to do something, and he was already frustrated. He said, "Make me." And she said, "Does that make you feel powerful, knowing that I can't make you?"
Was that the first episode?
That was the first episode. It's the first episode.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
it was. Because it was before the Guardians died. And
she said, "Does that make you feel powerful? That I
physically can't make you do that."
And it kind of like broke him in a way. Like it definitely like stopped. I was like,
she's
I like that
not
moment.
Scared of shit.
But so the thing is that. So the thing about Amber is that I actually liked her up until episode 4, I believe it was. It was 4 or 5. So she does not know that Mark has powers, and her and Mark start dating. And they do the whole trope of like he can't tell her, but he wants to tell her. Will he tell her? Won't he tell her? The thing is though, like her as a character is actually a really good character. She's strong. She's really smart. Independent. And she's got great morals. And she does a lot for her community. She's actually
very smart.
Very smart.
Dude, she is very active in her community.
And so she's like a very well-written character until they go on a trip together to a college for a friend of his.
Which I believe. And are you sure it was 4? I thought it was 6.
It may have been 6. It was mid to late season.
Because I feel like that was after the Battle Beast fight, but.
It was after that because he was injured, and remember
I feel like that was like 5 or 6.
Either way, it was after that. It's
probably 5.
Mid to late. The point is that So the guy that we just talked about, who was making cyborgs, this is the episode where he comes in and he kidnaps people and makes cyborgs. One of them attacked the group. The group of like Mark, his girlfriend Amber, his best friend, and his best friend's boyfriend. So Mark does the whole thing that like Spider-Man would do, and he disappears, and nobody knows where he is, and then Invincible shows up, and is fighting, and beats the guy. The day. And then he comes back as Mark.
Saves the day. The robot literally kills himself.
But he comes back,
and that's not an exaggeration.
But he did save his friends.
He on purpose kills himself. He finds out he's a monster and then commits suicide.
So, Invincible saves his friends and stops them. This is where his friend actually realizes that it's Mark, but Amber still doesn't know.
More specifically, saves the friend.
Mark comes back, and as Mark. He leaves as Invincible, comes back as Mark, and Amber just blows up on him for abandoning them. Yeah. Just lays into him for abandoning them, and basically breaks up with him on the spot for leaving them behind when this whole thing happened. And when he tried to tell her that he went off to go get help, she didn't. She basically said she told him that she didn't believe him, and that he abandoned them, and she hates him for it, and then breaks up with him. And then we find out. It was either later that episode or the next episode.
It was the end of the episode.
The end of the episode, we find out that she's known for weeks that he's invincible, and she says that she doesn't, she says that it's the lying that made her upset. But the thing is...
she's mad that he wasn't honest about who he was.
But the thing is, I think the reason they did that, and I agree with... I saw a video that helped break it down, because I had feelings about this, and I really didn't know how to say it. The thing is that... I think the reason that they wrote that was to make her seem really smart and that she could figure things out. Yeah. But the problem is if you rewatch that scene at the college, there's like a big cognitive dissonance between if you rewatch that scene, she doesn't blow up on him because he's lying. She blows up on him because he abandoned her. That's why she said she was upset with him. She blew up on him and said, "How could you leave us like that?" And and she even says at one point, like, "Who is that?" when he flies away. And it sounds convincing. It doesn't sound like she was trying to like front about knowing who it was. It doesn't seem like there was a lot of hindsight being considered. Like, or in hindsight, it's like, oh, this doesn't really work. When they wrote it, they wrote it thinking that it was gonna come off one way, and it didn't. In fact, it creates a problem of she's not acting like somebody who knows that secret.
So what I give it to. Is again, it is a deconstruction of the genre, and I feel like they meant to like subvert expectations because like usually when like the significant other finds out that their significant other is a superhero, they're just like, oh my god, what? But they subverted that by having her know. But like that's one of those things where it's like a payoff that we did not earn.
And it doesn't make sense when you look at an earlier scene.
Yeah, because like at no point are we given the like a hint that she knows. So it's like a payoff. Again, it's a payoff that we haven't earned.
And it also throughout the show, she's complaining about Mark to one of their friends, Eve, who's also a superhero. But she doesn't know that.
Adam Eve.
Mm-hmm. And so she's complaining to her and to Mark that he's not there. He misses dates and he's not there on time. She's complaining that he's not there. She's not complaining that he lies. She's complaining about him not being there.
It's his absence that bothers her.
The absence. And then the thing about on the college campus is that he abandoned them. At no point is it the lying that she mentions to anybody
until it is.
Until it is that.
So I definitely have a problem with like how she acts with everything, but apart from her, I think it's good. Like I like, that was
just one big problem that I had.
I like the Mark story. I like Nolan's story. I like Damien's story.
I love the interactions between every other character too.
Debbie's story. Honestly, like I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Amber.
Yeah, I did. I do still like her as a character. She's smart.
Like her arc because of that. So like the writing, considering Debbie's arc, season 1, I would give the writing, again, including her arc, I personally go like a 6.5.
I was gonna go 7.
I'm in the middle there.
Yes, yeah, okay.
Because, like, fun fact about me, I'll explain why I give it half a point less than you. I do not like will they, won't they bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
That is something, like, you gotta do will they, won't they really well for me to pick up on it and enjoy it. I mean, I'll pick up on it either way. I just won't enjoy it. I didn't like that. Like Spider-Man 2. Will Mary Jane find out or not?
Yeah.
Perfectly done. Invincible. Will she find out?
Not very well done.
Not perfectly done.
So
I give it a
it's
6.5.
basically hit or miss, isn't it? You either hit it or you miss. There's no in between.
Yes. There's no average. You get it right or you fuck it up.
So, animation. I think...
Okay.
I think so when you're watching an animated show, you want it to be pretty consistent throughout the show. In this show, it was apparent that there were some key scenes and one key episode. The final episode was all animated very well, but
yes.
But there were like
in my opinion, yeah.
But there are key scenes throughout the show.
Reviewing that.
Well, there are key scenes throughout the show where it's clear that the animation budget was meant for those scenes.
Yeah.
Like, for example, when he went to the alternate dimension and decimated another planet. Yeah. All of that was animated perfectly.
There was an alternate dimension. It was just a planet in our dimension.
You're right. It is in our dimension. It went through a portal to get there. It's a wormhole, basically. I feel like. Because it was a different part of the galaxy.
They took a wormhole to get to our planet, and he followed them through it.
And and that was all shot very well.
Yeah, so episode 1...
animated very well.
Episode 1 and episode 8 are fantastically animated. 2 through 7, like you said, there are scenes that are animated well, but as a whole,
and I think
2 through 7,
I believe it's episode 3 or 4 has the least amount of things that happen, and so the animation was also kind of bogus for like one of those.
Apart from like the hot scenes, I really wasn't crazy.
I thought it was okay.
I would personally compare the animation of the series to like Dragon Ball Super.
I was thinking Young Justice. It looks very Young Justice-y to me.
I'll admit, been a while since I watched Young Justice, so I will concede that I cannot make that connection. I watched Young Justice week by week, and then what was the second Young Justice?
Young Justice Season 2?
Yeah, but they had a different name.
It's not Outsiders, that's the
Young
third one.
Justice blank.
Annihilation.
Sure,
Annihilation,
I watched it week by week, but I never watched the third.
I've only seen like the first half of the third season.
I can't say that I remember enough to know how well animated it was.
It was well animated, but it was a standard animation.
I'd say it was well animated. Atla.
Avatar:
The Last.
Oh yeah. Have seen that. Yeah, sorry, Atla. Yeah.
I said that. I don't know why I defaulted to its initials instead of just saying it. But The Last Airbender was
that's a story for a different day.
Yeah.
This show's animation. What do you rate?
Okay.
What do you give that rating?
The important scenes were good. Everything else, not so much. But because they definitely focused on the things that they knew they should focus on, I will give it a 7.
So I never thought the animation was bad. I feel like there was some parts that were really, really good and some parts that were just great, and then other parts that were passable. They get it all across that we need. There were choices that were made as far as like, so a lot of times the background characters will be like 3D models, and the foreground characters are 2D, and that was jarring at times. But generally speaking, it was passable, and so I would, and then parts that it was amazing. when it was the more important key scenes. So I think I'll probably agree with you and go 7 on that one. Pacing. I think the pacing was actually really well done. The
pacing was great.
I was always enthralled, and it never felt like the show had downtime. It always felt like there was something, even if it wasn't something like an action going on, there was something thematic and there was something to mentally investigate on my own.
Yeah,
and try to figure things out. Shit.
I dropped my phone. Fuck me.
So
I was trying to investigate things.
I think pacing. I mean, it was very well paced, and we watched 4 episodes, and then we watched 4 episodes one night, and then the next night we watched the other 4.
And I watched it. That was my second time watching it. My first time watching it, I watched it with our friend Graham, who we watched 2 episodes, and then 4 episodes, because we watched episodes 5 and 6. We were just like, bro, I can't stop. We finished it because it was fucking great, but. Yeah, the pacing is out of this world. It hits all the marks that one season needs to hit. It gives you an episode 1 that hooks you in and makes you want to watch more, and then it expands very slowly, but it just builds upon itself. Each episode, I think, builds just enough. To keep you wanting more.
And they start
with
and end
all
when
of
they
the
should.
characters.
Yep.
And then by the end of season 1, you have the answers that you want after episode 1, but not enough answers to make you not interested in more to come.
Yep.
I give the pacing an 8.5.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
My man. We can't really just there we go.
Yeah.
So
Fuck it.
We could have given it. We peaked. I don't know if we peaked. I'm not looking at the monitor.
I think we did, yeah. But it was not our best high five. Yeah. I'll be honest.
8.5. No, dude, we have hurt ourselves with our 5.
Almost broke our arms.
So here's the thing. You know me. One of the things I like to do at work is slap meat. Today in the morning buffet, we did sirloin for the carving station. Mm-hmm. I went and got it for chef so he could season it and get it ready. I got it, and me and him opened the box of sirloin. So it was all those sirloins. He pulled one out to get going before he cut the plastic wrap off of it. I slapped the shit out of that thing. 30 minutes later, I was just like, why did I do that? My hand hurt for a while. I'm talking, I didn't like pop, I like boom! Like, dude, I brought that shit from grandma's.
Down the street, you did that shit where you fucking glided on the ground, sparks.
Yeah, the fucking smash, like, dude. I feel like we purposely avoided the one I slapped because we knew
you are Nolan. Bruised. Your hand is Mark. Just
no fucking red rush.
So anyway, the final category that we're gonna talk about, acting. Huh?
Through all 4.
Through what?
Anyway, sorry.
Acting. Wow.
Bro.
Easily, in my opinion, the best part of the show.
The cast of this show is... Okay, so, like, I think, personally, that we should avoid mentioning specific cast members, because if we start, we just won't stop.
Fair enough.
But the cast of this show... Oh, my God...
It is phenomenal. And he's right. If we started, I was just thinking to myself, I was like, maybe I can mention one. Just one specific, and then I was like, no, I gotta talk about...
We will mention one specific cast member, and it's J.K. Simmons, who voices Nolan. Yeah. Oh my God.
Think, Mark. Everything.
Think, Mark. Dude.
Oh, dude.
J.K. Simmons in what is probably top 3 performances of his career.
So
and it's
good.
Oh God, he's so good.
He is.
He is, like, because, like, when you look at Omni-Man, he even kind of looks like...
He looks like the J. Jonah Jameson, but, like, more fit and a little bit younger.
I think it's the perfect casting choice, because, oh God, it's so good. But anyway.
Phenomenal.
Everyone in this show gives a fantastic performance. I know I talked a lot about Rex. We've mentioned Rex a couple times, and I have mentioned more than once that I love the voice actor who plays Rex, and that's Jason Mantzoukas. Love Jason Mantzoukas. Seen him in a lot of stuff, both voice and physical acting. Mm-hmm. Love him. Great job as Rex. Hated Rex, but Jason Mantzoukas gives a great performance. Not as good as, say, J.K. Simmons, who gives a fantastic performance. But the acting in every step. I'm racking my brain trying to think of someone who gave a bad performance, and I just can't.
And you know what's crazy? We didn't even do sound design. That was one that we normally do. We didn't even do sound design. Well, something that'll make you appreciate the performances in this is that right after this, the new Castlevania came out, and we watched that, and it's good. But what I want to get at is that watching that makes me really appreciate the performances in this, because I can at least understand and hear what they're saying.
My biggest problem with Castlevania is that their dialogue is god awfully quiet.
Everyone sounds like they're like in a state of like whispering almost. Yeah.
But we're not talking about
anyway,
that.
The point
Invincible,
which
doesn't have that problem at all.
It's just phenomenal.
It is.
We say we weren't gonna see anything else. I was like about to name drop. There's so many stars,
dude, and honestly, a staggering amount of stars. Like Mark Hamill is in this show.
Mahershala Ali, Oscar winner Mahershala Ali is in this show. I mean, we're not listing off names.
Someone who we mentioned earlier in the podcast, Jimon Hansu, also in the show. This
Stephen Yeun as like the fucking as Mark.
An all-star cast. Oh my god! I give the acting a 9.5.
I was gonna go 9. I'll meet you on 9.25.
I'll meet you at 9. I'll give you 9. I'll give you that. Great acting. Because, dude, you mentioned it. Stephen Yeun as the lead Mark.
All of it.
In my opinion, completely unrecognizable.
Yeah, if you told me Stephen Yeun, I wouldn't believe
I'll be honest. The only thing I've seen Stephen Yeun in is The Walking Dead.
The only two people I can honestly...
at no point as Mark sounds like Glenn. He completely, like, original voice. It's incredible.
Yeah, there...
God, he's so good.
So, Sandra Oh.
Sandra Oh.
Sandra Oh. Debbie. I've never been a particularly big fan of hers, of her work. Mm-hmm. And I haven't watched all of it, but things I've seen her in, I thought she was okay. Her voice performance as Debbie was
out of this world,
phenomenal.
Oh, yeah, she's amazing.
I was like, oh my god, and the only two people that I can recognize in their voice roles is J.K. Simmons. I can recognize him, although his voice
J.K. Simmons
fits so well.
Voice is iconic.
And to an extent, I can recognize Walton Goggins' voice as Cecil.
I did not recognize Walton Goggins, but I'll tell you who I did recognize, because I have recognized this voice actor in everything he has ever done. Carrie Payton.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You recognize him, yeah.
God, he's so good.
It's a great show. Great show. Great voice acting. The voice acting is top tier.
It really is. Oh,
you gotta see it for yourself. And we're gonna crunch these numbers.
Yeah, we have the numbers. We're gonna crunch them real quick, and we will be back with not only a timestamp but our final score.
Okay, the numbers have been crunched.
Yo.
We plugged them into our complex computer system,
which is literally a calculator app.
On my phone, it is. But I had to plug the numbers in, and we did. And
our like Deadliest Warriors, like
exactly. They're gonna be watching this on YouTube, and it's gonna transfer to a battle between Omni-Man and Mark, and just Mark getting his ass kicked.
Omni-Man won, so we have to give it an 8.5.
Fuck it, I'm gonna actually make that. I'm gonna have that happen now and edit that in. Anyway, so the final rating that we give for Invincible Season 1, and I think after. You know what? Final rating for Season 1 is a 7.85.
Which I feel is
very
fair rating.
And I think what we might wind up doing is we'll review the show as it comes out, and then after the final season, if they don't try to just keep it going, because I know the comics eventually end, I'm pretty sure.
That is over, yes.
So whenever they do their last season, and we give that last season an individual rating, we can actually rate the show as an entire show, too.
Which will be much harder.
And because, okay, so we could always just like crunch the numbers between each season and get an overall rating, but then you run the problem of there being like a Game of Thrones situation, because if I look at Game of Thrones and I retrospectively look back at the whole show, it disappoints me from the entire show.
Look, I'll be honest, it's my second favorite show, but goddamn, the last 2 seasons of that show are just bleh.
Anyway.
Oh my god, real quick, I'm sorry, I know we're trying to end, but I gotta say, the country club I work at, we very recently, we decided to go, quote unquote, in a different direction with the front of house management for our night shift. We let go our night shift manager for the front of house, and we hired someone new. And yesterday, her name was Holly. She's awesome. Yesterday, I think it may have been.
Is it Holly that also like was the bartender?
No, I do know that she used to work there. Me and Holly were talking either yesterday or the day before, and she made a Game of Thrones reference, and I was like, "Do you watch Game of Thrones?" And she was like, "I love Game of Thrones," and then we hardcore geeked out for like 20 minutes. It was awesome. But anyway, very fair score.
7.85, very fair score,
1.
yes. That is our rating for Invincible Season 1. If you like that rating, make sure, and if you like our review of that, which is like an hour long, go
smash that motherfucking like button.
I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say go watch some of our... So what we tend to do is we'll take out the reviews for each of these podcasts, make them their own video if you really want to find them.
Yeah.
We're gonna do that at some point. We're not gonna do any. It's probably not gonna happen anytime soon. We usually do a bunch of our podcasts, and then we'll start releasing those as individual reviews of the entire, season.
Yeah. Baby.
Whenever we get there, we'll do that. If you like that though, go back and watch our other reviews. We've got like 10 more up right now.
Damn.
We've got, or maybe 7 to 10, something like that. I have to look at how many, but check those out. Thank you guys for listening.
But do not forget, in our next episode, we will be reviewing Army of the Dead. For those of you who have or haven't seen it and wish to know our opinion, that is our next review.
Thank you so much for getting this far and listening to us ramble and talk.
We appreciate it. We know that not everyone can stomach us for more than 8 minutes. But for those of you who do, shout out.
And really, I don't think there's anything else to say except...
Theme song!
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Are my medicine, and the shots that you take from the popping gun. Politician pins on his letterman, and the cars that he drove made the women run. Could it be? Well, I'd say probably, but can it wait till the rising sun just to see what the boys have done? As far as I can tell, it really doesn't matter who you are. Valedictorians burn your social security cards. As far as you can think, as far as you will probably All your promises are my medicine, and the shots that you take from the popping gun. Politician pins on his letterman, and the cars that he drove made the women run. Could it be? Well, I'd say probably, but can it wait till the rising sun just to see what the boys have done? As far as I can tell,